Part 28. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 273. Chapter 269 5 Elements Cave Heaven. Back to the head, Junior Brother's matter is just one of them. When I come back this time, the main thing is to send my master's bones for burial. Your master? Zhao Lai's figure was shaken. Li Changdao. Exactly. Have you found Li Changdao's remains? At first, the entire mission Nanzong went through all kinds of troubles and spent nearly 10 years without finding the whereabouts of Li Changdao. Unexpectedly, more than 30 years later, his disciples and grandchildren would actually find him. Uncle Ju nodded affirmatively. How did you find it? This is Zhao Lai's most curious question. My master was killed by the Golden Eagle King, one of the 3 demon kings of West Kunlun. Now that demon has been killed by Jun Ming. What? Zhao Lai suddenly stood up, his face full of disbelief. Jun Ming, did you really kill the Golden Eagle King? The 3 demon kings of West Kunlun are all great demons in the late Jindan period. They have been rampant in Kunlun for 200 years and no one can control them. In particular, the Golden Eagle King is not only powerful, but also extremely fast, making him particularly difficult to deal with. The strength is even stronger than that of the Saint Wen Ruyi of the White Lotus sect. Such a tyrannical person was actually killed by Su Junming, who was in the middle stage of Jindan. Even though he had witnessed his duel with Wen Ruyi, Zhao Lai was still a little unbelievable. Anticipating that Zhao Lai would not believe it, he took out the Golden Eagle King demon pill that he had prepared in advance. Master, please take a look. Looking at the demon pill that was the size of a child's fist and light green in color in his palm, Zhao Lai subconsciously touched it, but it was quickly bounced back. The Golden Eagle King demon pill was sealed by Su Junming. Without his permission, Zhao Lai naturally could not peek into it. With a finger, the demon pill spread out a handful of silver light. The shrill cry of the eagle came out, and at the same time, a tyrannical consciousness spread out. I beg the real man to spare my life. The little demon is willing to surrender to the real man and sit down and become a slave. I, the real person, will not miss you, a monster who cannibalize human life at every turn. With a wave of his sleeves, the demon elixir bloomed with silver light, the seal was restarted, and the consciousness and the eagle's cry were suppressed again. With a thought in his heart, the green gourd around his waist exuded a suction force and sucked the demon pill in. There was silence in the main hall. Jun Ming's ability is really unbelievable, Zhao Lai said complicatedly. Looking at Su Junming, who has a calm temperament, he is not only happy to have such an outstanding junior in his sect, but also laments why he does not have such opportunity and understanding to cultivate to such a state in just 20 years. I also ask for permission from the leader to bury my ancestors' bones within the section, Su Junming said. Now that senior brother Li Changdao's bones have been recovered, it will naturally be buried in the section. After that, he half turned around. You guys come with me. Zhao Lai led the 2 of them around to the back hall and used the sapphire staff in his hand to open the door to the cave world of Nanzong in mission. This is Su Junming's second time here. The feeling was different from last time when he was still innate. What a rich aura of Jiamua. When I opened the bronze mirror, I was shocked. When he came last time, he thought that the cave opened with the positive and negative 5 elements diagram was not too big. Unexpectedly, Zongheng was also 500 miles long. In the center of this cave, there is a big willow tree hundreds of feet high. However, most of the willow tree has withered, leaving only a few green spots in the middle. Even so, the rich spiritual energy of the armor wood in the willow trees still filled the entire cave world. Master, I look at the cave world here. The power of the realm is extremely strong, which is enough to overcome the tribulation and advance to the realm of the cave. Why is the sect indifferent? After looking at him, Zhao Lai shook his head and sighed. You have not advanced to the golden elixir before, and the sect has never mentioned it to you. In fact, when the Luofu cave heaven was at its peak, it once stretched 3,000 miles across, and it was the best magic weapon in the cave. But the world is at the end of the world, and the world here no longer allows monks above the nascent soul. Over the years, mission's spiritual veins have continued to shrink, and the level of this Luofu Dongtian has also continued to decline. Until now, even the spirits that suppress Luofu Dongtian have continued to decline. The roots have withered. But that willow tree, Su Junming said. You saw it? Zhao Lai said in surprise. This place is more than 100 miles away from the valley where the willow tree is located, and it is blocked by mountains, making it impossible to see it easily. I have understood the divine eye talisman taught by my master. The golden eyes on Su Junming's forehead flashed away. It is not a secret within mission that Taoist Master Four Eyes is good at the Shen Eye Dharma talisman, and Zhao Lai also knows it. That willow tree is an immortal root obtained by Master Ji Hong from the heaven. It has existed since the founding of Mission Nanzang. There was a pause. It's a pity that in a few years, this fairy willow will be extinct. Is there no remedy? Uncle Ju frowned. Unless there is a great change in the world and the spiritual energy is revived, otherwise. Zhao Lai shook his head. Uncle Ju stopped talking. Resurrection of heaven and earth? Although the world of spiritual practice believes that the yang and yin are born, and whether the yin is born, the world will recover, this kind of thing has never happened before, and no one knows whether they can wait until that day. Arrive. The three of them flew with Jiali for a while and landed in a valley. This is it? Su Junming briefly looked at the closed stone door in front of him. At this time, Zhao Lai had already started to fight. Shishi. Accompanied by a slightly harsh friction sound, the stone door opened, and a passage 1 foot wide and 2 meters high, with obvious traces of excavation, appeared in front of you. Step in and walk about 50 meters to a stone cave with a diameter of 20 meters and a height of about 5 meters. In the middle of the cave, a tall stone tablet stands. The sect is an important place, and those who trespass will be severely punished. The blood-red fonts convey a strong sense of warning. After bypassing the stone monument and going forward 100 meters, a huge cave appeared in front of me. The cave is 1,000 meters deep and 500 meters in diameter. Thousands of caves are dug into the rock wall in the middle like a honeycomb. In these caves, sarcophagi are stored. There are tablets in front of each sarcophagus, numbering about 2 to 3,000. In the middle of the entire cave, there is a huge square stone pillar 10 feet in diameter and 1,000 feet high. The stone pillar is divided into 20 sections from top to bottom, and each section is divided into southeast, northwest, and 4 large oil urns. The total is 80. Eternal lamps were lit in each oil vat, illuminating this huge cave. This is the cemetery of our mission southern section. After our disciples become immortals, their bodies will basically be buried here, Zhao Lai said. In the world of spiritual practice, there are many evil cultivators who use corpses to practice evil practices. The body of a practitioner is rich in spiritual energy and is an excellent material for practicing evil practices. If the bodies of mission disciples were destroyed after death and their souls were restless, the sect would bring their bodies back and bury them here. After nearly 2,000 years of accumulation, the scale has been extremely astonishing. The 4 people flew to the bottom of the cave, an empty cave. Put Li Changdao's sarcophagus inside. Uncle Ju, who had been holding the sarcophagus with his magic power, waved his hand after hearing this, and the sarcophagus was placed firmly in the stone niche. Zhao Lai's fingertips flashed with yellow light, and a stone tablet slowly grew out from the front of the sarcophagus. Zhao Lai stepped back, and Uncle Ju stepped forward. Light flashed from his fingertips, stone chips flew on the tablet, and a line of handwriting gradually became clearer. The spiritual throne of Li Changdao, a disciple of the southern sect of Mission. Followed by a line of small words. Disciples Lin Fengqiao, Lu Sanlang, disciples Su Junming, Chen Jiali, Su Wenkei, Lin Qiu's Hung stood in tears. Because the stone niche was still 10 feet high from the ground, there was no way to kowtow, so the group bowed in ceremony. Let's go. Out of Luofu cave. Feng Qiao, Junming, you two are now also my Mission Jindan elders, and you can study the Mission Sutra Pavilion at will. In addition, you can also accept the duties of guarding the Ancestral Hall, Sutra Pavilion, Changchun Valley, and other places. The sect will still be rewarded with Biangpil by then, Zhao Lai said. I still want to guard Tianxing's Huhuoyan, so I won't be forced to hold my position within the section. Uncle Ju pondered for a moment. I will guard the Sutra Pavilion. It didn't matter when he was alone before. Now that his concubine is pregnant, and it's the 3,000 tribulations, he is afraid that what happened last time when the White Lotus sect blocked the door will happen again. Moreover, the defeated Wen Ruyi was always a sharp sword hanging over his head, if she came back again. They may not be lucky enough to meet Su Junming. To keep my wife and children safe, it would be safer to return to the sect. Zhao Lai nodded. After leaving the Shangqing Hall, he left the sect. Uncle, I will send Jiali back first. Yes. If you come to see me again in the future, please come to the section. Uncle, let's go, Jiali waved his hand. Practice well. Uncle Ju encouraged him. New. After Su Junming said goodbye to Uncle Ju, his magic power lifted Jia Le and turned into light and walked away. After the two of them were gone, Uncle Ju, who was worried about his wife, also flew towards his dojo. Looking at the quiet valley and the two huts standing side by side in the valley, Su Junming couldn't help but feel emotional when he saw it again 20 years later. Scenes from when he was seeking Tao could not help but appear clearly before his eyes. Things are different and people are different. The escaping light fell, alarming the girl with braids who was drying herbs in the courtyard next door. Ching ching. As soon as he landed, Jia Le yelled and ran over. Jia Le? Are you back? Who is this? This is my senior brother Su Junming. Are you senior brother Su? Ching Ching looked up and down at the tall young Taoist priest in front of her. In the 6 years since she became a disciple of her master, she had seen her master and her uncle Simu next door arguing and fighting with each other every day. The only one who could make them put aside their prejudices and agree unanimously was senior brother Su Junming. Moreover, they often talk about how superior his qualifications are and how amazing his understanding is. Now that I see him in person, apart from his calm temperament and tall stature, there is nothing amazing about him. Tisk. The wooden door opened, and a short and thin monk wearing old yellow monk robes stepped out. Seeing Su Junming, a smile appeared on his kind face. Junming is back. I've met Master Ikkyu. Su Junming bowed to greet him. Before he entered Taoism, he had taken great care of him, so for many years, he had great respect for Master Ikkyu. The Vajrawomb Store Mila Sutra accidentally obtained in Anyuan town 10 years ago was transferred to Master Yuxiu. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 274. Chapter 275 years later. Come in. Su Junming nodded and followed Master Yuxiu in. Ching ching, go make tea. Oh. The two of them sat cross-legged on the futons on both sides of the small square table. Jia Le did not dare to come near, so he only sat down on the bamboo stool next to him. Ching Ching made tea and walked over to Jia Le and sat down. Gilug. The clear tea soup fills the teacup, and the clear tea reveals a fragrance that soaks the heart and spleen. This is what your master brought to me when he came back from mission. 2 years have passed and now he is no longer here. His eyebrows drooped, with a sad look on his face. Despite the fact that Simu and Yuxiu would start fighting each other when they met, the two of them were actually Jiao Buli Meng and Meng Buli Jiao's close friends. Otherwise, we wouldn't have lived next to each other for decades. Now that my old friend has passed away, Master Ikkyo is still heartbroken even if his character cultivation is extremely high. Master, there is no need to be sad. Although my master failed to overcome the tribulation, his soul still exists. He is now serving as the warden in the underworld of the city of wasted death. If you want to see him, I have a ghost talisman that will allow you to meet my master. Looking at the magic talisman in Su Junming's hand, Yuxio's expression froze and he said in shock. Didn't your master fail to overcome the tribulation and lose his soul? Who told you? Su Junming couldn't laugh or cry. Based on the experience of my master and Master Ikkyo falling in love and killing each other for many years, the answer is self-evident. Your master, this damn old bastard. After Master Ikkyo realized that he had been tricked, his eyes turned blue in anger and he uttered evil words. He reached out to wave the ghost charm in Su Junming's hand. Ching ching, go bring me a basin of water. No need. After stopping Ching Ching who was about to get up, Su Junming waved his sleeves and robe, and a stone basin grew out of the ground. The water vapor in the air was condensed into a trickle by Su Junming's Taoist method, and soon the basin was full. Master Yuxiu, his magic power activates the ghost charm. The water basin instantly became as dark as ink, and not long after, the four-eyed Taoist priest's face appeared in it. Old bastard, Amitabha, Buddha forgives me. Master Yuxiu was about to scold him, but he quickly reacted, chanted the Buddha's name, suppressed his anger, and pointed at the four-eyed Taoist priest like a sword, with anger on his face. Damn it, you actually tricked me. Ha ha ha, you bald guy is stupid and you blame me, Taoist priest Four Eyes said proudly. Amitabha, I want to break off my friendship with you. If we break our relationship, we'll break it off. You think I'm afraid of you? The poor monk wants to break the engagement. Grand Master. Master. Jiali and Ching Ching were immediately anxious. The two grew up as childhood sweethearts and have been deeply in love for a long time. Hey, damn monk, do you dare to break the engagement? Do you believe that I will get you down in advance to keep you company with me? You were the one who deceived me first. I can't blame the old monk for breaking his promise. You dare. See if I dare. Seeing the two of them arguing, Su Junming, who was used to seeing this kind of scene, looked at Jiali and Ching Ching, and the three of them walked out together. Your name is Ching Ching, right? I've always heard this kid Jiali talk about you before. I have always heard Master and Uncle Four Eyes mention senior brother Junming. Su Junming nodded and slapped the gourd. A pale golden rope and a cyan porcelain bottle flew out. This demon-subduing golden lock, plus 3 Biang pills, is a gift from me, your senior brother. No, senior brother, this is too precious, I can't have it, Ching Ching hurriedly backed away. Seeing that there was no greed in her eyes, Su Junming was satisfied. Take it. In the ordinary world, when you marry a wife, you have to pay a betrothal gift. Now that my master is away, I, the senior brother, can be regarded as the elder of the family. I will naturally pay the betrothal gift on his behalf. Ching Ching shyly glanced at her sweetheart beside her, who only knew silly joy, and nodded. Thank you, senior brother. I hope you can get along well with each other in the future and have a son soon. Thank you, senior brother, Jiali said with a silly smile. Su Junming nodded with a smile. Let's go and sit at master's place first. The two of them will probably have a chat for a while. When I came to the room where Simu originally lived, I opened the door and went in. It was still spotless. It could be seen that there were people cleaning here frequently. You guys sit down first. Su Junming stepped into the side room, first burned incense to the ancestor, condensed the wood energy to make a tablet, and engraved the name of the master on his 4 eyes. After frowning for a while, he stood up and walked out. The three of them chatted for a while, and then saw Master Yuxia walking in with a smile on his face. Obviously, he was also happy to see that his old friend was still living well in the underworld. "Master, my master's joke went too far this time. I will take him to apologize to you." Su Junming felt a little helpless when he encountered a master who was not easy to worry about. Who else but Four Eyes would dare to joke about matters of life and death? Master Yuxia waved his hand. "Forget it. Your master has been like this all his life, and the old monk has long been used to it. In that case, I would like to discuss their marriage with you. Jia Le and Ching Ching are both young, and it's time to start a family. The master is too stubborn, so Su Junming, the eldest disciple, has to step forward and plan for his junior brother." Looking at Jia Le and Ching Ching, who were in love with each other, Master Yuxia nodded. Although Ching Ching is his disciple, she has not learned Buddhist techniques, nor has she become a monk, so she is not prohibited from getting married. It's better to let them start a family as soon as possible. Then what do you think is the right time? On the 3rd day of next month, ye marry. Su Junming nodded. Half a month passed quickly, and in a blink of an eye it was the day when Jia Le and Ching Ching got married. Not many people came to the wedding, except for Master Yuxia and Su Junming, Uncle Ju and his aunt, Ren Ting Ting, who became the aunt's disciple, plus Chu Sheng and Wen Ke. Uncle Ju and Master Yuxia were the elders and sat at the top. Su Junming made a temporary guest appearance as the master of ceremonies. "Worship heaven and earth. 2 Thanks to Jiaotang." 3 times into the bridal chamber. Ren Ting Ting helped Ching Ching walk to the 4th room, which was where she and Jia Le would live from now on. "Master, I have always heard my junior brother and Junming mention you. When I meet you today, you are indeed a man of great virtue," Uncle Ju said with a smile. "Ba, I don't dare to praise you so much as a Taoist priest. Taoist priest Yimei kills demons and maintains a party's purity. This is the meritorious service. How about a full drink of this cup? I'm very happy today." The old monk broke his precepts. "Please. Don't drink too much, you too." The concubine frowned as her belly was already somewhat obvious. "It's a big day, it doesn't hurt to have a few more drinks." "Come, Junming will come too," Uncle Ju said. "Don't worry, Auntie, I'm watching over you and I won't let you drink too much." The concubine nodded, turned around and walked out. After she became pregnant, she couldn't smell alcohol. "Come on, let's have a drink," Uncle Ju greeted him in a rare initiative. It can be seen that since they got married, they have been severely controlled by their concubine. Encountering this lively occasion, my mood was very high. "Uncle, my aunt should be giving birth soon, right? The baby will be born in 2 months. Uncle Ju's face was beaming with joy, and his expression and demeanor were no different from his ordinary father. "Have you chosen a name?" Master Yuxio asked. Uncle Ju nodded. "Call Zhenying." Puff. Su Junming quickly wiped the tea from the corners of his mouth and waved his hands towards the two of them. "It's okay, I'm a little choked. Drink slowly, you are a big boss, why are you still so unstable?" Uncle Ju taught him a lesson. After nodding slightly awkwardly, Su Junming asked quickly. "Uncle, my junior brother who has not yet graduated is called Lin Zhenying. Isn't the name nice?" Uncle Ju frowned slightly. This was the name he came up with after searching the 7 heavens Taoist scriptures. Su Junming shook his head and thought to himself. Is it really cause and effect? Seeing that Uncle Ju liked the name very much, Su Junming didn't say much. Everyone had a good time, had enough food and wine, and chatted among themselves. After 3 days of reunion, Uncle Ju took his wife and apprentice to leave. "Junming, if you see me again in the future, go to your master's former residence." "I know, Muju." He encouraged Jiali and Ching Ching again, and finally said hello to Master Yuxia before saying goodbye and leaving. Seeing Uncle Ju's light disappearing into the distance, Su Junming turned his head. Jia Li, Ching Ching, I'll be relieved if you two get married. Senior brother is leaving too. Su Junming nodded. Senior brother still has the important task of guarding the Tianxing's Fire Eye, so he can't be away for too long. Seeing that he was depressed, he smiled and patted his shoulder. Don't worry, senior brother will visit you often in the future. He patted the gourd and a jade slip appeared in his palm. Master, these are some insights I gained from studying Hutu Taoism. I hope it will be helpful to master's practice. Ba, Junming, thank you very much. It was about the road, and Master Yuxia didn't refuse. Su Junming nodded slightly and looked around at everyone. I'm leaving, see you tomorrow. The words are still in my ears, but the person has disappeared into the distance. In the days that followed, Su Junming traveled between Huoyan and the sect in Tianxing's Hu, and occasionally stayed at Jiali's place for a few days. He practiced Taoism in Huoyan in Tianxing's Hu. In the sect, he learned more about the 7 Taoisms such as Shangqing Divine Thunder Technique, Golden Light Bagua, Swanyan Ghost Slaying Sword, and 36 True Traditions. With the cultivation experience of countless seniors in the sect as a reference, Su Junming made rapid progress. There are more and more natal talismans reaching the red stage in the Danshan. Time flies, it's been 5 years. In the past 5 years, warlords have been fighting among common people, and the world has become increasingly chaotic. Demons and ghosts appear frequently in the cultivation world, and chaos gradually arises. Only the high sects or places suppressed by Jindan monks were still peaceful. Su Junming was sitting cross-legged in a quiet room. 3 feet above the Baihui point above his head, a red talisman flashed with light. Gradually, the red became a little more purple. The red is getting lighter and the purple is getting more and more. But just when the entire talisman turned purple, it suddenly started to tremble. After a while, the purple faded and the talisman turned red again. He sighed and opened his eyes. Or not. In the past 5 years, he has understood all the 12 Taoist methods he majored into the red stage. Even proud of the practice experience of senior mission, there are 20 or 30 more natal talismans in the red stage in the Danshan. But after 5 years, no natal talisman can advance to the purple stage. The natal talisman at this stage is called the Yuanshen Purple Talisman. Since mission was founded, it has tens of thousands of disciples, but there are not many practitioners who can cultivate to the Yuanshen stage, and there are less than 50 practice notes left behind. Moreover, these 50 cultivation experiences are scattered in different methods. It is still too difficult to use these cultivation experiences to comprehend the natal talisman to the purple stage in a short period of time. After calming down, look inside the Danshan. A bronze mirror shines in the center. The surrounding destiny talisman, the Huishan talisman, the Earth Emperor talisman, the reincarnation talisman, the soul talisman, as well as the 2 spiritual weapons of Zhufengshan and Yimen Guangliang, formed the first ring around the bronze mirror. The Yin-Yang talisman and the Yin-Yang Great Mill that were originally supposed to be here are now in Renwuji's hands. Except for the Fate talisman in the blue stage, the other talismans are all in the red stage. The second ring is full of red talismans. It contains Demon Slaying Sword Talisman, Sealing Talisman, Flame Talisman, Thunder Talisman, Alchemy Talisman, Jellyfish Talisman, Sacred Tree Talisman, etc., totaling 23. The last ring has the most, with nearly 100 rings, mostly blue, and only about 20 white rings. When the bronze mirror's assistance to understanding increases and Su Junming understands more and more truths, he can easily understand a Taoist method to the blue stage even if it is just by analogy. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 275. Chapter 271 3 Yellow Pills. Jingle. The crisp ringtone woke Su Junming from his trance. He removed the seal on the door with a snap of his fingers, and a flying crane came in and turned into letter paper, falling into his palm. After reading the writing on it, Su Junming folded his palm and put it away, stretched out his hand, inserted the green bamboo stick on the ground with the copper bell in the middle, flew into his palm, raised his leg and went out. This small house named Chongshan Residence was his place to stay within the mission sect. He spends half of 12 months of the year here. I've met Master Chongshan. The young disciples passing by saw him and quickly bowed to greet him, showing reverence in their eyes. That's right, 22 years after Su Junming entered Taoism, Mission also had a new generation of disciples. He successfully got in with the senior uncles. However, compared to the change in status, his status in Mission is more respected, especially by the younger generation. Is he Uncle Chongshan, who is known as the youngest golden elixir monk in the world of cultivation? But Uncle Chongshan is not only the youngest Jindan, but also powerful. Especially 5 years ago, he killed the Golden Eagle King, one of the 3 demon kings in West Kunlun, which shocked the entire cultivation world. He was known as the most powerful monk in the future to aspire to the legendary nascent soul realm. Uncle Chongshan is so powerful. Of course. It would be great if I could become a disciple of Uncle Chongshan. You have a beautiful idea. For so many years, Master Chongshan has not confiscated his disciples, so the conditions must be frighteningly high. For the likes of you and me, forget it. The 2 young disciples walked and talked, walking farther and farther away. Su Junming listened, but his heart did not fluctuate much. He has heard this kind of talk more and more over the years. Arrive at Muwuju. Pushing the door open and walking in, a 4-year-old little doubting quickly stopped and ran over on the swing in the yard. Uncle Su touched his little head. This little guy is the son of Uncle Ju and his concubine. They are equals, so logically he should be called brother. However, Su Junming was now in his 40s and was really not used to being called brother by a little bean sprout, so he changed his tune. Turning his left palm, a Monkey King candy man appeared in his hand. Take it, Uncle gave it to you. Thank you, Uncle. Go and play. The little guy quickly ran towards the room. Dad, Mom, Uncle Su bought me a Monkey King candy man. Su Junming walked in. The concubine was coaxing the child, and Uncle Ju stood up to greet her. Uncle, Aunt. Come on, your master's aunt made the dumplings. Su Junming nodded and walked over to sit down. Didn't Chiu Sheng and Wen Cai come back? No. These 2 brats are fooling around somewhere. Uncle Ju shook his head. After using the Biang pill given by Su Junming to break through the innate world, Chiu Sheng and Wen Cai have just started training. Throughout the year, he spends most of his time outside and rarely returns to Mission Sect. Junming, have you gained anything from seclusion for 3 months? Uncle Ju asked. The momentum on his body disappeared in a flash. Already reached the 8th level of the realm of seeing the truth. Uncle Ju took a deep breath. Although I have seen many shocking things that happened to my nephew, in 5 years, from the 6th level of the peeping realm, spanning 2 floors, to the 8th level of the peeping realm, I was still shocked. Compared to his current age, no one can match his speed in the entire cultivation world. What's more important is that in addition to his cultivation, this nephew's understanding is also excellent. Combining the 2, although the progress is rapid, the foundation is deep and the future is promising. According to your cultivation speed, you will reach the peak of the realm of seeing the truth in another 20 years. There is hope of reaching the nascent soul realm within a few years. Learn from Bojian, Su Junming said with a smile. It won't take him so long to advance to the nascent soul realm, but the current world environment does not allow monks to advance to the nascent soul realm. Junming, it's been such a long time and you haven't considered starting a family, the concubine asked with a smile. Auntie, I'm used to being free on my own, so it's better not to disturb others. We are in love, and there is no need for delay. It would be great to leave an heir to your old Sioux family in the future. Look at your uncle, he was still unwilling to do so earlier, but now that Zhenying is here, he is not happy to have his lips cracked every day to the back molars. Uncle Ju's face looked a little disappointed when he was scolded. Okay, if Junming doesn't want to, don't force him. I'm doing this for his own good. Seeing that the two of them were about to quarrel over him, Su Junming said quickly. I understand Auntie Shi's intention, but I have no intention of starting a family, so let's forget it. If the way of heaven comes to an end and the way forward for spiritual practice is cut off, then he may not really consider taking pleasure in the present moment. But now that he has figured out that there is another more powerful world of cultivation in the world, he certainly will not let himself fall into the fetters of emotions. Eat, let's not talk about this. Afraid that his wife would say something outrageous again, Uncle Ju said quickly. The concubine was not a fool. Seeing Su Junming's firm attitude, she wisely said nothing more. After finishing a meal of dumplings, Uncle Ju called Su Junming to the study. After serving tea and chatting briefly, Junming, have you ever considered taking on a disciple? Uncle, actually I have already accepted a disciple. Uncle Ju was stunned. Have you collected it? Uncle, have you ever heard of Qin Zhong? Uncle Ju thought for a while and said hurriedly. But Qin Zhong, the great sage Fuxian who has become famous in the world of cultivation. Su Junming smiled and nodded. I don't know how to pronounce the name Fuxian Monkey King, but it is quite domineering. Exactly. When did you take on a disciple? Why didn't you tell us? I have been accepting a disciple for many years, but I have never told my uncle. The reason is that my disciple's qualifications are not outstanding, his understanding is also poor, and many Taoist methods in mission are not suitable for him to practice, so I did not introduce him to mission sect. Your disciple is already in the Golden Core realm, but your qualifications are not outstanding, Uncle Ju frowned. When I first met him, any mission disciple's qualifications and understanding were better than his. Qin Zhong's only advantage is his outstanding perseverance and tough temperament. So I taught him martial arts and practiced hard for many years. With what we have achieved now. It is rumored in the cultivation world that the great sage Fuxian Qin Zhong held a war spear with powerful fighting power. 3 years ago, he killed Lu Changshan, the ghost king of Bamang Mountain and the 5th level ghost elixir. If such a strong man were to worship in mission, I don't think the leader will refuse, Uncle Ju said. I also considered letting him worship in mission, but after all, he has never practiced the martial arts passed down from mission. In the end, I decided to forget it. You are his master. Since you have chosen this path for him, so be it. After a pause, Uncle Ju said seriously. Junming, I hope Zhenying can become your disciple. Su Junming was stunned. Worship me as your teacher? Master, wouldn't it be better for you to teach him yourself? Uncle Ju smiled bitterly and shook his head. Practice is hard work. As his father, I'm afraid that I won't be able to teach him a lesson in the future. In addition, from a Xing, Xiaoyu, to Qiu Sheng, and Wen Cai, none of them have become successful. This shows that the ability of my disciples is really not good. Hi. Su Junming nodded in his heart. Uncle Ju was very clear about his understanding. Also, although I am a monk in the realm of seeing the reality, when it comes to the realm of Taoism and Dharma, I am far behind you. There is a saying that famous teachers make great disciples. I think Zhenying will have a better future by following you than following me. There was a pause. Now that the great sage Fuxian Qin is in front of me, I feel more at ease. Qin mainly works hard on his own. I don't have much time to teach him, Su Junming said. Martial arts practice mainly depends on perseverance. If you don't work hard, teaching will be useless. However, Qin progress was so rapid because of the various elixirs he provided. Otherwise, no matter how hard Qin works, he would like to advance to the earthly evil realm in 20 years. In this era of the end of heaven and earth, it is simply impossible. Don't be humble in front of me. Su Junming smiled and did not defend himself. To be fair, as the son of Uncle Ju, Lin Zhengying's aptitude and understanding were excellent, so it would be appropriate for him to be his disciple. Coupled with the relationship between Uncle Ju and him, he did not refuse. Since my uncle has this intention, I will accept him. It's still a little early now. Let's wait until Zhengying is 6 years old before officially holding the apprenticeship ceremony, Uncle Ju said. Taoism generally begins to take root at the age of 6, so it is appropriate to become an apprentice at the age of 6. After setting a date for apprenticeship, the two briefly chatted, and then Su Junming stood up and left. Returning to his residence, he took out Jufeng Mountain, flew in, and came to the alchemy room. The flames in the alchemy furnace are blazing, the medicinal gas on the top of the furnace is condensed, and the faint medicinal fragrance permeates the entire room. After sitting cross-legged and meditating for a while, the medicinal gas on the top of the furnace suddenly began to boil violently. Su Junming raised his brows, stretched out his hand, and a red light flew out of the alchemy furnace, and the flames suddenly disappeared. The boiling momentum of the medicinal gas slowed down, and a light yellow, ganoderma-like cloud slowly formed above the alchemy cauldron. With a wave of his sleeve robe, a yellow-skinned gourd flew above the alchemy cauldron. The method opened the mouth of the elixir, followed by a strong aroma of elixir like orchid and musk deer, 15 elixir pills in blue, white, and yellow colors and as big as a dragon's eye flew out like lightning. The yellow-skinned gourd issued a suction force in time and took the pill inside. After catching the gourd, he examined it with his spiritual consciousness for a moment and nodded with satisfaction. A furnace of 3 yellow pills, 24 pills. There are 15 pills of completed pills and 9 pills of useless pills. The pill-formed rate is 60%, which is much better than last time. You must know that this is an elixir specially used by golden elixir monks. The main ingredients are 3,000-year-old spiritual fruits, and the auxiliary ingredients are 99 different kinds of spiritual herbs and spiritual plants. If it weren't for the elixir accumulated by the Mission sect for 2,000 years, he would never have been able to refine the 3 yellow pills. It was precisely because of the 3 yellow pills that he was able to break through the 6th and 7th levels of the realm of seeing the truth in just 5 years, until he reached the 8th level now. As his disciple, Qin was able to break through the 2nd level of the earthly evil realm to the 4th level of the earthly evil realm in just 5 years, and became known as the Fuxian Great Sage in the world of cultivation. The wealthy couple is in a Dharma place and practice the 4 essentials. The further back he went, the more Su Junming realized the importance of these 4 elements. After cleaning the remaining waste elixirs in the alchemy furnace, he drew in the rootless water. After cleaning the alchemy furnace, he stretched out his finger, and the red fire divine light flew in again, and the flames burned. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 276. Chapter 272, The demon attacks the 7 evils, and the 1,003 great tribulations begin. Su Junming turned his left hand, and a maroon-red jade box, 1 foot long and half a foot wide, appeared in his palm. The seal on it was removed and opened, and there were peaches the size of fingertips inside. When he took the peach out, it instantly grew in size and soon became the size of a football. The magic power activated the alchemy furnace, the top cover opened, and the peach flew in, leaving only a peach core in the palm. Collect the remaining peaches and peach cores separately. He took out another cyan jade box. Inside was a fruit that was entirely cyan and as big as a child's fist. These are called Qingling fruits. They are the spiritual fruits he collected from the lair of a golden elixir realm vulture after he beheaded him in Kunlun Mountain. There are 12 in total. Half of them were used to refine the 3 yellow elixirs, and now only one is left. 6. After placing the Qingling fruit, he took out a jade box. Inside were 2,000-year-old red fruits that he had seen once before. These 2 red fruits were obtained by him after refining spiritual weapons for his sect. As usual, leave the core and put the pulp into the alchemy furnace. Finally, 99 kinds of spiritual herbs and fruits were put in, the flames were controlled, and the impurities were carefully refined. This is a long-term job, so he doesn't need to keep an eye on it all the time. He just needs to control the red fire divine light and temper it with small fires. After disposing of the alchemy furnace, Su Junming left the cave, activated the escape light, came to the top of the 5th mountain, and sprinkled the seeds he had just left. The seeds of the 1,000-year spiritual fruit can also be regarded as spiritual seeds. In the future, they will grow into spiritual roots of Dongzhen level. Although the spiritual roots of the Dongzhen level are now not as important to him as before. But something is better than nothing. People who have been poor are generally not used to waste. On the top of the 5th mountain, there are 3,000-year-old spiritual roots. A peach tree, a Qingling fruit plant, and a purple jade grape plant. The peach tree has already grown tender peaches the size of your fingertips, which are still early to mature. Qinglingguo has just bloomed. Purple jade grapes come from the wilderness. They have just climbed over the grape trellis, and it is still early for them to bloom and bear fruit. If these grapes can ripen, I won't have to worry about getting red fruits anymore. He also knows that this means that in today's environment of heaven and earth, the spiritual roots of the big hole level will never mature. Fortunately, he doesn't plan to stay in this world forever. Chirp! Suddenly a phoenix cry came. Su Junming raised his head, and in the sky of Jufeng Mountain, there was a giant bird 3 feet long, green in color, with phoenix feathers on its tail, spreading its wings and circling in the sky. With the cry of the phoenix, a trace of black cloud floated in the sky of Jufeng Mountain, followed by bursts of thunder, and the sky was covered with darkness. Heavenly calamity. It seems that the little blue bird is going to survive the calamity, Su Junming thought to himself. Boom! A thunderbolt that was about 10 feet wide struck down. A blue light shot up from the little blue bird's body, and the thunder of disaster was dispersed with a bang. The second calamity thunder increased to 2 feet, and was already dispersed by the green light on the little blue bird. Seeing this scene, Su Junming couldn't help but sigh. As expected, he is worthy of being a lucky bird. This robbery is simply unofficial business. When ordinary monks advance to the Golden Core realm, the second calamity thunder will be either 3 feet or 5 feet. At this point, the power was directly reduced by nearly half. The third calamity thunder increased to 4 feet, but compared to the 9-foot calamity thunder of ordinary monks, its power was directly reduced by half. Such calamity finally put a certain amount of pressure on the little blue bird. However, according to the red fire divine light and the Zhengjin divine light, the Aoki divine light that has been practiced for many years has become the spiritual weapon of the 3 spiritual taboos. It is not difficult to break up a 4-foot-long thunderstorm. After the thunder tribulation passed, a bucket-sized creation inspiration poured down. The aura on the little blue bird's body increased rapidly, and its size slowly grew, until it stopped when it reached 7 feet. However, there was no transformation. Master, I have survived the thunderstorm. The little blue bird flew in front of Su Junming, his consciousness filled with joy. Surviving the Golden Core thunder tribulation is just the beginning of your practice. Don't slack off in the future. Well, I will definitely practice hard. Su Junming stretched out his hand, and a flash of green light flew out from his dantian like lightning, turning into a thunder-wrapped drum in mid-air. The big drum flashed with light and swallowed up all the thunder spirit left behind by the tribulation. He took back the Tian thunder drum and inspected it with his spiritual consciousness. Although the thunder essence inside was rich, it was still far from being able to achieve the ninth spiritual taboo through sacrifice. At this moment, he couldn't help but miss the crimson thunder that almost killed him when he was crossing the tribulation with 4 eyes. The thunder energy dissipated by the latter directly advanced the Tian Li drum into a high-grade spiritual weapon with 8 spiritual taboos. But thinking about it, Su Junming definitely doesn't want to do it again. As soon as he took back the thunder drum, an invisible evil spirit suddenly invaded his mind. Su Junming was instantly upset, and a manic killing intent spread from his heart. He quickly activated his soul talisman and concentrated his mind. Wrong. Frowning tightly, he ducked out of Jufeng Mountain and came to the courtyard. Looking up, I saw a big red star in the western sky, shining brightly, its red starlight shining directly on the bullfighting. The demon attacks the 7 evil spirits. Su Junming's expression changed. Dang dang. The 9 bells rang loudly, and the loud sound waves resounded throughout the mountains. Compared with the highest level of 12 bells, the level of 9 bells is already very high. Su Junming flew towards the Shangqing Palace. At the same time, countless monks in the entire sect are also rushing here. Arriving at the main hall, the leader Zhao Lai sat cross-legged on the central seat with a majestic aura. To his left was a sloppy old man with grey hair and ragged clothes, and a yellow dog lying at his feet. On his right was Qian Dinglin, the fire Taoist whom Su Junming had met several times. Qian Dinglin took action, a middle-aged Taoist wearing purple Taoist robes with a majestic aura. This person is one of the 4 golden elixirs in mission, the master of the law enforcement hall, the wood master Wu Yuanzi. The sloppy old Taoist is the only one left behind. The real person is Sun Changjing, the Jade Tiger Taoist who has been guarding the red fruits in Changchun Valley for thousands of years. Sun Changjing's subordinate is Ju Shu. Opposite Uncle Ju, Wu Yuanzi lowered his head, was a middle-aged Taoist nun wearing a blue Taoist robe. This Taoist aunt's name was Zheng Qiang, and her weapon refining skills were originally second only to Qian Dinglin's, but later they were all outclassed by Su Junming. Now he has survived the heavenly tribulation and achieved the realm of seeing the truth, with the Taoist title of Zhongxiu Taoist. With the advent of the 1003 Great Tribulations, many older generation monks who have spent many years at the peak of their innate abilities are beginning to try to overcome the tribulations. Some people succeed and some people fail. Counting Su Junming, mission now has 8 truth-seeing monks. This is the foundation of decency. Su Junming, who was the lowest in seniority, came to the last chair and sat down. The rest of the Xiantian monks came in standing. Soon, the spacious Shangqing hall was filled with people. Counting the new ancestral generation disciples, there are 200 to 300 people standing here. If we include those who are outsiders and have not returned to the mountains, this number can be doubled. Clang. Zhao Lai knocked his bamboo stick on the floor. The entire hall quickly became quiet. He looked around at everyone with majestic eyes. I believe you all have seen the scene just now. The heavenly demon rushes into the 7 evils, and the 1003 great tribulations begin. People who practice in the world are in tribulations, and they cannot escape. Only by facing up to the difficulties can they escape from the tribulations. So, from today on, all the disciples who have entered the Taoist Xiantian, except for some who stay in the important areas of the sect, the rest will all go down the mountain to face the disaster. Your duty is to maintain the peace of the cultivation world in Guangdong and Guangxi. All demons who dare to cholera the common people will be killed. The tone is firm, like gold and iron. During the great calamity, as long as you don't commit evil, killing will not be related to cause and effect. Moreover, the more you kill, the more merit you can get. Yes, Master. Everyone responded with a roar. Everyone, go down and get ready. Soon, there were only 8 golden elixirs left in the hall. Everyone, the great catastrophe has begun. Ordinary demons and innate stage disciples can deal with them. Those demons and monsters at the golden core stage still need our action. If you have any orders from the master, just ask, Wu Yuanzi said. Zhao Lai nodded and turned his eyes. Junming. The disciple is here. Su Junming stood up. Everyone else looked over. This young disciple can be called one of the most talented disciples since the mission sect was established. After entering the Tao for 20 years, you will reach the late stage of seeing the truth. If one considers the current environment of the end of heaven and the Dharma, his qualifications and understanding can be regarded as the highest in mission. How is Tianxing's Hu Huoyan doing now? Foolproof. Zhao Lai nodded. Now, only you and Uncle Chiao are in the late stage of the realm of seeing the truth in mission. Uncle Chiao wants to take charge of the mission sect and dare not leave lightly. Therefore, you are responsible for destroying the White Lotus sect's demon kill in Juyi Mountain in Nanling. Respect the master's decree. Master, Junming is alone, why don't you let me give him a helping hand? Uncle Ju stood up and said. Zhao Lai looked at Su Junming with a questioning look in his eyes. Don't worry, uncle, I am enough. You have to think carefully. The White Lotus sect has attracted the help of the late-stage Jindan Great Demon Blue-Eyed Golden Centipede from Juyi Mountain in Nanling, as well as the Chu Cave in Miaojiang. They are very powerful, Zhao Lai said. Su Junming smiled lightly. Except for the Blue-Eyed Golden Centipede, the rest are just chickens and dogs. As someone who was able to kill the Golden Eagle King of West Kunlun 5 years ago, no one would question what he said. Haha. You little guy has a very loud tone, but I, the mission disciple, must have this kind of domineering attitude. White Lotus sect, if we can destroy it once, we can destroy it twice. The sloppy old man laughed. Su Junming nodded. Zy Taoist Chiao Malong, the person with the highest cultivation level of mission Nanzang, is not the late stage of the reality peeping realm as Zhao Lai said, but has truly reached the 12th level of the reality peeping realm, and is only one step away from breaking through to the nascent soul. Top monk. With the help of the bronze mirror, Su Junming could clearly see a red talisman with a strong thunderous meaning in his dantian. Su Junming, who also practiced the thunder method of the supreme purity god, could see at a glance that this drunk Taoist's understanding of the thunder method was at least equivalent to the 9 transformations of the nascent soul. Although it is not as good as him, he does not have the bronze mirror to increase his understanding. Such talent is definitely the top in the world of cultivation. If he hadn't been restricted by the laws of heaven, he might have been a nascent soul or even a Yuan Shen level figure. What the master said is true. A group of guys who are not worthy of being on the stage should be robbed by us, Su Junming said. The two of them have high cultivation levels and can treat the White Lotus sect as if it were nothing, but others cannot. Since Junming doesn't need any help. Nephew Lin, go to Tengteng town and kill the evil-doing bronze-armored corpse. Yes. Uncle Ju nodded. Senior sister Sun continues to be in charge of Changchun Valley. Uncle Qian. Please give me the master's orders. Back then, the Wu family committed themselves to the White Lotus section, although they were destroyed by Yuan master nephew Su. The main character Wu Dun escaped and is now hiding in Laos. Master Qian was also invited to go and destroy them. Qian Dinglin nodded. Don't worry, master, the remaining members of the Wu family will be handed over to me. Uncle Wu, junior sister Zheng. Head. Wu Yuanzi and Zheng Qian looked over. The Anand Shenluo temple has repeatedly disturbed our southern practice community, so you two will be responsible for destroying the Shenluo temple. Yes. I'm going to kill that catfish spirit hiding in the Pearl River water house. Taking advantage of this 1003 catastrophes, we will wipe out all the demons and monsters lurking in Guangdong and Guangxi, Zhao Liheng said. As soon as the words were spoken, The 8 people's bodies trembled. After looking at each other, the light suddenly appeared, and they rushed out of the hall in unison, straight into the blue clouds. In the northern sky, a gray-red air column shot straight into the sky. Even thousands of miles away, one can clearly sense the tyrannical ghostly aura and endless killing aura within it. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 277. Chapter 273 The Three Ghost Realms. The ghost world of Changping is born. Qian Dinglin said with worry. When Su Junming returned to Mission 5 years ago, he truly understood the true secrets that were only passed down by word of mouth among Mission's truth-seeing communities and never ended up on paper. For example, the ghost world in the north. The Jin ghost world he strangled was only at the bottom of the 3 major ghost worlds in the north. There are 2 truly powerful ghost realms. Changping Ghost World. Here are suppressed the 400,000 Zhao army souls that Qin killed after destroying Zhao. Although in China's more than 2,000 years of feudal history, the number of people killed in the massacre was several times, or even more than 10 times, that of the Changping War. But the tyranny of the military soul is not comparable to that of ordinary souls. Not only is the soul powerful, it also has powerful evil aura. The military souls gathered into a military formation, let alone ordinary monks, even Yuanying and Yuanshen may not be able to defeat them. In addition to the Changping Ghost Realm, the most powerful ghost realm in the north is called the Dakan Ghost Realm. As the name suggests, the ghost realm of Great Qin consists of the ghosts of the Qin dynasty, and the strongest among them is Yingzheng, who is known as the Emperor of the Ages. What makes Su Junming find it incredible is that the ghost world of Dakan is not in Shaanxi province, but in Mobei. As for where in Mobei, no one knows. Even those who are good at calculation are difficult to find. I hope the Quanzhen Taoist sects can stop the Changping ghosts, otherwise the north will be devastated, Uncle Ju sighed. Everyone nodded solemnly. As soon as the catastrophe began, such a powerful enemy appeared, which put a heavy stone on everyone's heart. Let's go. Clear away the demons in Guangdong and Guangxi as soon as possible, so that we can support Quanzhen Taoism as soon as possible. Everyone nodded, turned into light, and flew out of Luofu Mountain. Su Junming did not stay away, but flew down in a deserted place. Not long after, a white light flew over and turned into a tall and thin middle-aged monk with a green gourd on his head. Another sword light flew over and turned into a purple-faced old man on the ground, carrying a black iron sword box on his back. Immediately afterwards, a beautiful white woman flew over, with a pair of 3-foot-long sword wings wrapped around her back. Finally, there was a fierce-looking monk wearing a bright red cassock, carrying a big white umbrella behind his back. These 4 people are the 4 golden elixir puppets trained by Su Junming. The Bone God Lord Man Fang. Purple-faced Tianluo Sun Chengzong. Vampire Vivian. Skeleton Monk Qian Xiao. In the past 5 years, although Su Junming was refining elixirs and cultivating Taoism in Mission Sect, these 4 puppets killed more than a dozen Jindan realm monsters. Su Junming also gained a lot of good things. The green gourds, demon-slaying swords, wind and thunder wings, and Tianluo umbrellas on the 4 of them have also been upgraded to 5th or 6th level spiritual weapons. He stretched out his hand and a yellow magic bag flew from the skeleton monk King Xiao's waist into his palm. Su Junming's consciousness swept away. It contains a huge crocodile with a body length of 15 feet, a sealed demon pill the size of a table tennis ball, and a flag with dim light. This giant crocodile originally hid in Dongting Lake. Although it rarely caused trouble, it also ate many people who fell into the lake. However, it was moderate and was not discovered by the decent ones. If Su Junming hadn't searched Dongting Lake in order to kill Wen Ruyi, the saint of the White Lotus sect, he might not have found it. Spreading his left palm, Zhefeng Mountains de Lulu appeared. A suction force was released and the giant crocodile body was swallowed up. The demon pill flies out. Spare your life. Before he finished speaking, he was swallowed up by a dream. Rolling in the yellow rice, the memory of the giant crocodile appeared in front of Su Junming. After recording the valuable skills, a crocodile demon soul appeared in the Huangquan River. Finally, there is the flag with dim light. It was just a top-quality magic weapon, but Su Junming looked down upon it. A blue light flew out from the back of his head, wrapped around the flag and twisted it, the restraint collapsed, and the water spirit inside was sucked out. The blue light flashed on, then returned to normal, disappearing behind Su Junming's head. This blue brilliance is the Shuiju divine light he practiced. Over the past 5 years, he has used the golden elixir puppet to condense the trophies he earned for himself into 7 rays of divine light. They are Shuahu divine light, Greenwood divine light, Thick earth divine light, Thunder divine light, Dingfeng divine light, Swanyan divine light and Pure Yang divine light. Connected with the red fire divine light and Zhengjin divine light that were previously practiced. It basically brings together metal, wood, water, fire, earth, wind, thunder, and yin and yang. These 9 elements are also the basis for building a world. They can be combined with the little Zushinyunjin true method to create a small world. Su Junming named the set of divine lights 9 Ju divine lights. Although it is not as powerful as Kongxian's 5-color divine light in ancient legends. But this 9 ultimate divine light contains his own understanding of the way of sealing. As long as it is the way of the 5 elements, wind and thunder, and yin and yang, it can be included in it if it does not exceed the scope of the world. You go to Juyi Mountain, kill the blue-eyed golden centipede, and eradicate Shu Cave. After the 4 people nodded, the escaping light rose into the sky and flew straight to the northwest. Su Junming looked at the domineering ghostly aura in the north that lingered and shot straight into the sky. His heart moved, and a yellow beam flew out of his dream. With a flash of light, a stone bridge 1 foot wide and 3 feet long took shape. Su Junming flew up, hit the stone bridge, and a black space channel was formed. After flying in, it disappeared instantly. Nanling stretches across the 4 provinces of Guangdong, Jiangxi, Hunan, and Guizhou, and separates the 2 major river systems of the Yangtze River and the Pearl River. It is full of mountains and strange peaks and forests. Especially in inaccessible places deep in the mountains, there is dense miasma and numerous poisonous insects, which breed many monsters, among which the blue-eyed golden centipede is the best. When it comes to cultivation, this centipede is not too strong among the demon cultivators in the late golden core stage. The only thing about it is the poisonous mist. Those who are below the golden core realm will be killed immediately. If they are above the golden core realm, if they are hit, they will be killed instantly. You'll also lose half your life. In addition, although this blue-eyed golden centipede has done many evil deeds, he still knows how to restrain himself and has lived a carefree life for many years. Of course, it can live well, and it was because Mission Nanzong planned to use it to deal with the disaster, so it didn't do it immediately. Juyi Mountain is a mountain peak deep in the Nanling Mountains. From a distance, 8 peaks surround the main peak, which is somewhat similar to Su Junming's Jufeng Mountain. However, compared with the vast white clouds of Jufeng Mountain, the clouds are steaming and the clouds are bright. The 7-colored clouds cover the mountainside of Juyi Mountain, which looks particularly bright in the sunshine. The 4 people took a brief look and quickly flew in all directions. Directly to the east, the skeleton monk Qian Xiao took off the Tianluo umbrella behind his back and urged him to fly up according to the formation of the 4 elephants. Vivian, White Bone Lord Man Fang, Purple-faced Heavenly Lord Sun Chengzong. The 4 of them started fighting at the same time. 4 elephants demon-slaying formation, rise. 4 giant light pillars 10 feet thick soared into the sky, complementing the 4 elephants demon-slaying array in the sky, with a radius of 500 feet, and were all enveloped in the formation. Once the power of the spiritual weapon level formation diagram is deployed, coupled with the suppressing objects, it is impossible to suppress it even if it is nascent soul or lower. The moment the formation was formed, a ray of green light soared into the sky from Juyi Mountain. While the four colors of red, gold, white, and yellow light flashed, a giant net appeared from mid-air, tightly suppressing the green light in it. The blue light condensed, revealing a middle-aged man wearing a green robe, with a thin face, eyes like copper bells, and two black tentacles on his forehead. The moment he was blocked by the formation, the scene in front of him changed. Boundless fire emerged from nothingness and filled the entire world in an instant. The French net formed by the large formation also disappeared. The complexion of the blue-eyed golden centipede changed. The formation that can block him is not ordinary. He stretched out his hand and pointed, and a 9-section steel whip appeared in his hand. With a push of magic power, dozens of feet of spiritual light rushed up from the steel whip, and it hit the place above where the French net originally was. Boom! The sea of fire was split open, and the burning flames were like rushing waves, with turbulent waves. However, the sea of fire rushed, and the formation was not broken. The blue-eyed golden centipede looked ugly. Who is causing trouble for me? Come out. Laugh. There was a sound of the air being cut, and countless daggers were like falling meteors, stabbing straight towards the blue-eyed golden centipede. Don't dare to neglect. The green-eyed golden centipede opened its mouth and spit out a stream of colorful smoke. It was only a mouthful at first, but soon it became more than 10 feet long, covering the whole body from the wind and rain. The dagger approached the poisonous mist, and suddenly there was a loud roar of wind and thunder and lightning. The poisonous mist, which was enough to contaminate the spiritual weapon, was instantly cut into pieces. Not good. The blue-eyed golden centipede looked ugly. The poisonous mist of his life is so poisonous that the magic weapon will be defiled at the touch of it. Ordinary spiritual weapons will lose their spirituality over time. Unless mid-grade spiritual weapon. Damn it, could it be that Mission Nanzong took action? Without thinking too much, he stretched out his hand and 6 diamond-shaped shields flew out, covering his body. At this moment, the dagger flew over and collided with the shield. Along with the sparks, the crisp sound of gold and iron echoed. Listening to the dense chirping of gold and iron, the blue-eyed golden centipede felt proud. My 6 armor shield is a rare middle-grade defensive weapon, a mere magical sword. Suddenly, a powerful killing aura and lightning flew over. Damn! Tisk! The Lyogia shield was cut through, and an extremely sharp sword energy flew past the green-eyed golden centipede's waist. Ah! Following the miserable scream, green blood flew out. There was a flash of light, and a giant centipede with a length of 30 feet, thick iron armor, and a green body appeared. The lower half of the giant centipede fell down with the splash of green blood. Mean. The green-eyed golden centipede is so hateful. If the other party hadn't mixed the flying sword among the magic swords, causing him to lose his vigilance, he wouldn't have been in such a miserable state. At this time, a big cyan gourd flew over and took in the fallen lower half of the green-eyed golden centipede. Before the green-eyed golden centipede could snatch it, a sky-covering umbrella appeared from above the head. The umbrella cover opened, and dense black iron ropes hung down from the top of the head. Feeling the strange power entangled in the iron rope, the blue-eyed golden centipede did not dare to let it get entangled, and subconsciously activated its magic power to prepare to avoid it. Swish! The speeding sword river, mixed with wind and thunder, stabbed again. The silver-white flying sword slashed across with extremely sharp sword energy. After Ching Gourd put away the demon, it turned into a hill, and with strong energy, it crashed directly into it. The 3 spiritual weapons, combined with the Tianluo umbrella, covered all directions, blocking the blue-eyed golden centipede in the middle. In an instant, the spiritual energy vibrated, and the sound of gold and iron mingled. Soon, along with a scream, everything calmed down. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 278. Chapter 274 Changping Zhao Jun. The white bone god Manfang is holding a green gourd, the purple-faced heavenly lord Sun Changzong is carrying a sword box, the vampire Vivian has wind and thunder wings flapping behind her, and the skeleton monk Xianxiao appears from the sky with a heavenly logo umbrella in his arms. Manfang stretched out his hand and pointed, and the green gourd's spiritual light bloomed, flying into the top of Juyi Mountain, and a powerful suction force spread. Not long after, a 5-foot-tall tree with iron branches and purple-red fruits the size of a child's fist flew out from the Juyi Mountain and slowly fell into the gourd. That's it? Vivian nodded, and with a thought in her heart, the wind and thunder wings turned into sword rivers and flew into Juyi Mountain. Panic beast roars sounded, and there were human figures flying in the middle. Just a moment later, Jian He flew back, and many of the magic swords had storage bags or hardware ying on them. Vivian waved her hand, and the object on the magic sword flew into her sleeve. The wind and thunder wings returned to their old appearance and fell behind them. Let's go and destroy Chiyu Cave. The 4 people put away the 4 elephants' demon-slaying formation and flew to the southwest. Su Junming manipulates the puppets to destroy the blue-eyed golden centipede, which is just a microcosm of what will happen in the world of cultivation after the heavenly demon rushes into the 7 evils and the 1003 great tribulations begin. At this moment, no matter in the secular world or in the spiritual world, in the east or the west, blood is flowing all over the ground and the sky is full of killings. At this time, when the Changping ghost world was born, most of the ghost energy that filled the world had dissipated. However, the Changping area is still filled with gloomy air, blocking out the sky and the sun. Su Junming came across the sky and saw Jindan sects such as Laguan Taoism, Chunyang sect, Longmen sect, and Wudang sect from a distance, as well as the Buddhist Wutai Mountain Xiantong Temple, Songshan Shaolin Temple, etc., with more than 20 Jindan sects leading their disciples, alerting the ghost army on the opposite side as if facing a formidable enemy. In addition to these disciples, there are also some casual cultivators around. For example, Su Junming once met Zhending Daijun, Kongguan monk, etc. If you don't get out of the way for Zhao, don't blame Zhao Erlang, the 450,000-year-old man under my command, for being rude. In front of the mountains and seas of ghost soldiers, a young general wearing a silver helmet and silver armor, sitting on a black horse and holding a sword at his waist said coldly, "Infinite Heavenly Lord, not to mention that the Dragon Emperor Ying Zhen was sealed by the Yaokai Saint Ziwan 2000 years ago, the Dragon Emperor and his army appeared in this world, and General Zhao led the 450,000 ghost army across the border. The boundless Yin Qi, it will also kill people and animals within 100 miles along the way. It involves the lives of millions of common people in Henan and Jin dynasties. I ask the general to let them live because they are also descendants of Zhao." An old Taoist priest with white beard and hair said loudly. Judging from his cultivation, he is also at the peak of the golden core. He is surrounded by abundant fire energy and has an astonishing momentum. 2,000 years have passed, and they are no longer my subjects of great Zhao. Choke. The white armor general held the bronze sword at his waist. "If you don't get out of the way, don't blame me for being rude. Infinite Heavenly Lord, follow the old Taoist to set up the Tai Chi formation. Amitabha, Shaolin disciples, set up the Vajra demon subduing array. Pure Yang sect, Pure Yang Wuji formation. Longmen sect, Tiangang Baidu formation. Wudang sect, Jinwu 7 interception formation. Xiantong Temple, Vajra prefecture formation. It is impossible to stop the 450,000 ghost army with personal strength, even at the golden elixir stage. Only by relying on formations and gathering the strength of everyone can we have a chance." Housekeeping formations from various sects rose into the sky, trapping 450,000 ghost troops inside. The mantis arms are like a chariot. The white armor general snorted coldly, pulled out the copper sword from his waist, and slashed with his hands. In an instant, a magnificent black sword energy struck straight towards the formation like an overwhelming tide. Boom! Along with the thunder, the sword energy and the formation collided with each other, and huge ripples appeared from the formation. At the same time, a black and white Tai Chi diagram also emerged from the formation. After shaking for a long time, the formation gradually stabilized. The white armor general looked a little ugly. "If you want to stop me, Zhao Jun, you're dreaming." He raised his hand casually, and behind him was a rusty black tiger's military flag. "Huben Army." The white armor general's voice was like thunder. "Drink." The echoes of countless soldiers echoed thousands of miles away like ocean waves. "Follow me to kill the enemy. Kill, kill, kill." The shouts of killing like a turbulent wave filled the sky. The murderous aura soaring into the sky, combined with the ghost aura, formed a 300-foot black tiger under the fierce black tiger flag. The white armor general pointed the copper sword in his hand, and the giant black tiger roared, and with astonishing momentum, he rushed straight towards the Taiji formation ahead. The white-haired old man living in the formation had a solemn expression. "Disciples of Luguandeo, try your best to stop him." "Yes." The Xiantian disciples who went to the Balu temple to watch Taoism, as well as 7 Jindan monks, responded at the same time. Mana is continuously input into the Tai Chi 2 spiritual weapon that dominates the formation. A dazzling black and white mysterious light filled the world. Everyone felt that the world was silent. For a moment, it seemed like hundreds of years had passed. It wasn't until the thunderous collision sounded that I felt like I was back to normal. That giant black tiger had gathered the ghostly energy and murderous energy of at least 50,000 ghost soldiers, making it extremely powerful. The Luguan Taoist sect's spiritual weapon Tai Chi 2 is a top-quality spiritual weapon that fulfills the 12 treasure prohibitions, plus the Luguan Taoist sect's formation and many disciples. The defense is so strong that it can withstand the 3 transformations of nascent soul. The two sides fought like tit for tat, but in the end Luguandeo was stronger and finally destroyed the black tiger. But looking at the frivolous appearance of Luguandeo's Tai Chi formation, one knew that they would not be able to withstand the second wave of attacks. But the ghost army of the white armor general remained as powerful as ever. I also ask all fellow casual cultivators to give me a helping hand in Luguandeo. Now is not the time to show off, so the white-haired old man quickly sent out an invitation. "I am really determined, I am willing to help fellow Taoists Swan Yu." Lord Zhending Dao flew into the formation. No one can escape the 1003 great tribulations, and they must go through it between life and death. In this case, entering the battle at this time can be said to be a timely help to Lu Guantao, and he will definitely gain a lot of love. At the same time, you can also get a lot of merit. The most important thing is that with the protection of a large formation, the safety is much better than acting alone. "Thank you, fellow Taoist Zhending," the white-haired old man said politely. "It is the poor Taoist's responsibility to save the common people. Fellow Taoist Swan Yu, you don't have to be polite. Lord Zhending is smart, and others are not stupid either." So after him, casual cultivators continued to join the formation. Of course, in addition to Lu Guandao, other sects also began to recruit casual cultivators to help. After all, they all saw the duel between Lu Guandao and the white armor general just now. That is to say, Lu Guandao, if it were him, he might not be able to stop it. At this time, it is natural to increase the strength. Moreover, the more people there are to suppress the formation, the more powerful it will be. It is said that doing this will distribute the merits, but you must first get the merits before you can talk about anything else. Su Junming did not take action. It's not that he refuses to save anything, but that this war has just begun, and someone has to step forward to plug the loopholes at the critical moment. Here, no one is better than him, and no one is more suitable than him. Seeing the increasingly powerful aura of the formation, the white armored general's expression turned ugly. Stare for a while. General Zhao Guang. A general wearing a black helmet and holding a broadsword rode forward. Please give me your orders, General. I'll give you 50,000 black armored army and help me capture the formation on the left side. The white armored general waved his hand, and a black military flag with red edges fell into the hands of the black armored general. Promise. The cavalry general Wei Shi. A general wearing red armor and holding a spear rode forward. I will give you 70,000 Leopard Tau army troops to capture the formation on the right side for me. General Baijio waved his hand, and a red military flag fell into Wei Shi's hands. Promise. Chariot General Tian Chengguan. A general wearing yellow battle armor and holding a Fangtian painted halberd rode forward. I'll give you 60,000 Yin-Yang army troops to help me capture the rear formation. A purple military flag fell into the hands of the yellow armored general. Promise. Young men should move forward vigorously, break the blockade, and seek revenge on Emperor Qin. Revenge, revenge. The shouts of 450,000 people were like a roaring mountain and a tsunami, breathtaking. The powerful ghost energy even blocked the sunlight in the sky. The overwhelming murderous aura goes straight to the bottom of my heart. The surrounding monks all looked horrified when they saw this scene. Su Junming also looked serious. This white armored ghost general has such advanced military training. He had read many records about military monks in Mission Sutra Pavilion. Generally speaking, those who can control 10,000 soldiers and condense them into military souls can be called general. Mastering 50,000 soldiers and condensing the soul of the army, he can be called a general. To be able to condense hundreds of thousands of soldiers and condense military souls, one must be a famous general. Commanding millions of soldiers and condensing the soul of the army, in China's thousands of years of history, such generals can be counted with one slap. After the white armored ghosts were divided into 3 teams, there were 450,000 ghost soldiers, and there were still 270,000 left. Finally, I would like to advise you. I, Zhao Kuo, am targeting Dragon Emperor Yingzheng, not you. If you get out of the way, I, the general, will not be in contact with you. Otherwise, I, the general, will let you all act like ghosts. The sound was loud and resounded for hundreds of miles. However, the formation was stable and no one responded. Anger appeared on Zhao Kuo's face. Okay, since you are seeking death, don't blame this general for being ruthless. With a wave of his left hand, a 3-foot-long stick with a tattered red dragon flag appeared behind his head. Incomparably powerful evil energy emanated from the dragon flag. An invisible force covered the remaining 270,000 ghost troops. The white-haired old Taoist, Zhending Taoist, Su Junming, and others all turned pale. This tattered red dragon flag can actually condense the evil spirit of the 270,000 ghost army. Zhending Daijun's face couldn't help changing. He somewhat regretted getting involved. If it were just the attack of the 50,000 ghost army just now, it would not be difficult to block it with the help of Lu Guandao's Tai Chi formation and Tai Chi diagram and the combined strength of everyone. But they were absolutely unable to stop the evil aura of military souls formed by the 270,000 ghost army. Even if it doesn't work well, 100 years of hard work will turn into running water here. However, it was too late to retreat at this time. Not only will he offend Lu Guantao, but his reputation will also turn into a bad reputation in the spiritual world. Thinking about things, you can only act according to the situation. Life must not be lost. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 279. Chapter 275, Earth Emperor Dao Hunyuan Seal. I didn't expect that Zhao Kuo, who was talking about military affairs on paper, was actually a master of military affairs. It's really unbelievable, Su Junming thought to himself. Suddenly, a golden light flashed, and the red military flag behind Zhao Kuo was taken away in an instant. The golden light flashed again, and the man appeared 100 feet away with a military flag. Su Junming looked at the figure. He was tall, wearing leather armor and hanging a yellow gourd. He was riding on a golden lion. It was his great disciple Qin Zhong. This brat is so arrogant. The military flag is the natal magic weapon of military practitioners. It is not that easy to take it away. Shameless idiot, why don't you die? Zhao Kuo drew his sword and slashed furiously, and the mighty sword light went straight towards Qin Zhong. Faced with the soaring sword energy, Qin Zhong did not continue to escape. The Huishan magic talisman given to him by his master can only be used 3 times a day. If he exceeds it, he will have to wait until tomorrow. In order to take away this military flag, he has used up the number of attempts today. Escape, you will definitely not be able to escape. That's the case. Then let's fight to the death. With a firm look on his face, he raised his spear in his hand, ready to fight head-on. Silly boy, you can't resist the sword energy. The familiar voice suddenly surprised Qin Zhong. Master. The figure of a young Taoist priest wearing a green Taoist robe, a copper bell hanging from his waist, and holding a bamboo staff gradually solidified. Looking at the tattered red flag in Qin Zhong's hand, Zhao Kuo didn't take it back immediately. With a finger, Jufeng Mountain flew out, and Lian Qin Zhong put the red military flag in it. Zhao Kuo's expression changed drastically, and his natal military flag actually lost contact. When he died in battle, nothing like this had ever happened. How can it be? 3 levels of hell. 365 grains of yellow rice were combined with each other. In an instant, the tall stone door was 300 feet high. The lintel was embossed with the head of a ferocious monster, blocking the swarming forceful sword energy. Now, after Su Junming's many sacrifices and trainings, Yimen Huangliang has become a mid-grade spiritual weapon with 6 spiritual taboos. The combined power of 365 middle-grade spiritual weapons may not be broken even by high-grade magic weapons. The powerful and sharp sword energy hit the stone gate, like a raging torrent hitting a solid dam. After several back and forth surges, the first stone gate was shattered, but stopped in front of the second stone gate. With his own strength, he blocked Zhao Kuo's sword after he gathered his military souls. The strength was so strong that it shocked all the monks present. Who is this person? The old white-haired Taoist from Luguan asked in shock. Does anyone know this guy? An old monk with white eyebrows in Shaolin Temple exclaimed. Master, this person seems to be Su Junming, the Jindan elder of the southern sect of Mission, the master of Chongshan. Taoist Master Kongming, the head of Luguan Taoism, said with some disbelief after confirming it several times. Chongshan Master Su Junming? It is said that he has only been in Taoism for 20 years, isn't it? How could he have such a level of cultivation? The white-haired old man has also heard of his name. After all, there are not many monks in the late stage of the upright golden core. Everyone has heard of each one even if they have not seen them. This person's cultivation level is only at the late stage of golden core, but his spiritual weapon is surprisingly powerful. After Zhending Daojun solidified for a while, he couldn't help but envy Dao. Who are you? Zhao Kuo stood solidly at the top of the stone gate, his clothes and sleeves flying, like a young Taoist standing in the air to control the wind. Su Junming again. He did not hide his identity. In fact, now, with his cultivation, there is no need to hide his whereabouts. You took away my life, the red dragon flag. You can say that. Su Junming nodded. Qin Zhong is his personal disciple. Master and disciple are one, sharing will and woe, and connected by destiny. Are you like them, trying to stop me from going north? Zhao Kuo pressed his sword in his hand and asked angrily. No. Su Junming shook his head and stared at Zhao Kuo. As ghosts, you should not exist in the human world, so I will send you to reincarnation. Just you. Just me. The finger formulas in Su Junming's hands changed, and auras of light flashed. Disciple Su Junming, I respectfully invite Emperor Guansheng to come to me. I am as urgent as the law. A flash of red light flashed, and the aura on his body rose rapidly, quickly surpassing that of Jin Dan. The tyrannical momentum was overwhelming, and the white-haired old Taoist, Zhending Taoist, and others were horrified and lost their voices. Nascent soul. Su Junming only stopped when his body felt a little heavy. Move your body and your body will be filled with the power of heaven and earth like mountains and seas. A feeling of being able to split mountains and open rivers with just one strike came to my mind. Whether it was the illusion of a sudden increase in strength or something else, Su Junming enjoyed this feeling of tyrannical power. Looking at Zhao Kuo with a solemn expression, Su Junming smiled slightly. With a finger, Zhufeng Mountain flew above the Yin soldiers, and with a flash of light, it turned into a giant of 100 feet. Looking at the huge mountains above his head, Zhao Kuo slashed out with his sword. The mighty Bei's Hang Sword River disappeared instantly like a mud cow entering the sea. Cave Tian's spiritual weapon. Many knowledgeable people recognized it. Mission Nanzong is actually willing to bring their Luofu cave heaven out, Zhending Daijun said in surprise. The Dongtian magic weapon that suppresses a sect is the foundation for the long-lasting prosperity of a large sect. If you encounter a catastrophic disaster that destroys the faction, you can hide in it and you will be safe in most cases. Therefore, it will not be used easily, let alone taken outside. This is not Luofu cave heaven. The white-haired old man shook his head. How can I see it? It is rumored that the foundation of Luofu cave heaven is a spiritual root obtained from the immortal world by the founder of the sect, Ge Hung Jinren. And this one is a mountain. I see. The white-haired old Taoist looked at Zhufeng Mountain, which was 100 feet high, with twinkling eyes. There is one more thing he didn't say. Although this mountain-shaped cave heaven's spiritual weapon is powerful, it is definitely not as good as Luofu cave heaven. After all, Zongnan cave heaven and Luofu cave heaven both fell from the level of Big Cave due to the end of heaven and earth, so their grades should be similar. Instead of looking faintly weaker like now. But it is really extraordinary that this person can own such a huge cave. Huh. Not only the white-haired old man, but also many people noticed Su Junming standing at the top of the giant door, making quick seals in his hands. The complicated seal obviously means that what will be performed next will be an astonishing Taoist method. Zhao Kuo is not stupid either. Combine the power of the military soul and draw your sword to slash. The overwhelming sword energy came in force. 3 levels of hell. 300-foot-high doors blocked the sword energy. Although the sword light was powerful, it only destroyed 2 ghost gates and then dissipated. There was nothing he could do about Su Junming, who was standing behind the 3rd gate of hell. Zhao Kuo's face was ugly. If he had the red dragon banner of his destiny, he would not be afraid of this person at all. Unfortunately, after it was damaged in the war, the red dragon flag has never been restored, and its connection with itself is not as close as before. Otherwise, why would it be taken away by the other party? You guys take action with me. Promise. Zhao Guang, Tian Chengguan, and others who got the military flag waved their weapons at the same time. Combined with the power of the military soul, the huge sword light, sword energy, and spear light were like huge waves rolling back, rushing over overwhelmingly. Su Junming's expression remained unchanged. The god of Hushan performs magic. His body moved hundreds of feet in an instant, dodging 4 nascent soul-level attacks. After the gate of hell was destroyed, it turned into grains of yellow rice and flew into his body. Just when Zhao Kuo and others came to attack again, Su Junming's hand was certain. Hundreds of seals condensed into a mysterious spiritual light, with a solemn expression and a sudden drink. The Earth Emperor's Wei Hunyuan seal. A bright yellow light exploded from his hand. With a buzz sound, Jufeng Mountain trembled. In an instant, a vast and incomparable swallowing power spread from Jufeng Mountain. Within 1,000 feet in radius, large pieces of soil and rocks, the surrounding yin qi, gold and iron objects, and bing huo qi were all swallowed up by the mountain in the sky. Countless yin soldiers were involuntarily carried by the soil underground and flew high into the sky. Even the hardware instruments of many monks around were pulled away by the strong suction force. Zhao Kuo looked ugly and shouted angrily. Turtle shell array. The military flags were blazing, and the Zhao ghost army moved quickly. Soon, 400-foot-long giant turtles appeared above the ghost army, resisting the swallowing power of Jufeng Mountain. Su Junming stood in mid-air, maintaining the Earth Emperor seal with his magic power. Seeing the changes in Zhao Kuo's military formation, he shook his head slightly. The Earth Emperor's seal is an immortal method. If it is not assisted by a bronze mirror, it can help him understand it. It can also use the divine magic to add the power of heaven and earth. There is no way to use this tyrannical method. It's just the beginning now, the excitement is yet to come. More and more earth and rocks were absorbed, and the volume of Jufeng Mountain expanded rapidly. 100 feet, 300 feet, 1,000 feet. The larger the volume, the stronger the swallowing power. When the earth and rocks outside Jufeng Mountain spanned thousands of feet, the power of swallowing and sucking instantly increased to a higher level. Master, the swallowing power of this giant mountain is too strong, and the formation can no longer hold on. Chun Ruhanren looked at the increasingly powerful mountain in the sky, and then looked at the young Taoist in the distance who was facing the wind, wearing strong Taoist robes and powerful aura, and sighed slightly in his heart. At that time, Xian Zhenguan had some conflicts with the other party. Unexpectedly, they had not seen each other for more than 10 years. The person who made them lose face was already a top expert in the cultivation world who could lead the group. Inform the other factions that our Xianzhen temple will retreat 5 miles. Yes. Before the disciples could get down, they saw a giant turtle formed by 4 military formations. The smaller one on the outermost side suddenly flashed and then collapsed. Countless ghost armies seemed to be floating in the wind, and were quickly swallowed by the giant mountain. Master, Chun Rugenren, the leader of Xianzhen Temple, has received news that the suction force of this giant mountain is getting stronger and stronger, and their formation will no longer be able to hold on. The white-haired old man nodded and looked at the huge mountain in the sky that was getting bigger and bigger under the endless piles of earth and rocks. Let's retreat too. Yes. Brother Suanyu Dao, when did Mission Nanzong have such a powerful Earth Emperor Dao method? Zhending Dao Lord asked. I don't know either. However, Chongshan Master Su Junming can understand such a powerful Earth Emperor's Taoism, and his qualifications and understanding are top-notch. Mission Nanzong has produced another genius since the dragon-slaying master ascended to the throne 900 years ago. What a pity. Ah, I was born at the wrong time. Lord Zhending nodded. Nowadays, the way of heaven is at an end and the path of immortality is broken. No matter how good your qualifications are, no matter how strong your understanding is, you will never be able to circumvent the general trend of the world. Become a disciple of Taoist priest for us. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 280. Chapter 276, Seal Changping. Large pieces of earth and rocks were swallowed up by the giant mountain in the sky, and a large pit appeared on the ground that was several hundred meters deep and 5 kilometers in diameter. And as the swallowing power of the giant mountain becomes stronger and stronger, this big pit continues to expand. Suddenly, the giant turtle formed by the military formation on the far left suddenly flashed. It didn't take more than a moment before it collapsed. A full 60,000 ghost troops were swallowed up by the giant mountain. Zhao Kuo was in the middle of the military formation, his eyes twitching and his face full of anger. If I can escape today, I will cut this thief into pieces to relieve the hatred in my heart. About there. Su Junming stretched out his hand and pointed, and the huge mountain that had grown to 3,000 feet in the sky slowly fell down. The sky slowly darkened. Everyone looked at the slowly falling stone mountain, and felt a sense of shock in their hearts. If this happened to them, it would be life or death. The giant mountain pressed down, and the swallowing power, coupled with gravity, instantly crushed the giant turtle formed by the two military formations. A black stream of light flew outside like lightning. Su Junming saw it in his eyes. I always cut the grass without leaving any roots. How can I let you run away? With a thought in his heart, his body instantly crossed 1,000 feet and came to the black stream of light. As soon as the mana was activated, the copper bell on his waist shook instantly. The clear and distant ringtone that penetrated the soul caused the black light to escape, revealing Zhao Kuo's figure. He stretched out his hand and pointed, and a dream of yellow beams flew away with lightning and took Zhao Kuo into it. Looking at the huge mountain in the sky, activated by magic power, 8 talismans flashing dark blue light flew over like lightning, and stood in accordance with the Bagua directions. Bagua Demon Sealing Array. Following Su Junming's finger gestures, the 8 sealing talismans became powerful. Using Jufeng Mountain as the center of the formation, they formed a Bagua formation and fell into the mountain. The ghost energy formed by the 450,000 ghost army in the mountain was instantly sealed within it. After doing this, Su Junming slowly breathed a sigh of relief. Turning around, he looked at the various monks around him. After a slap in the face. Everyone, if you want to save this great Zhao ghost army again, I won't keep any more. He reached out and grabbed it, and hundreds of hardware instruments flew out from the giant mountain. I was very offended just now. Please take back these magic weapons. After saying that, he urged Jufeng Mountain to fly out from the giant mountain and took in the 3,000-foot rocky mountain. Fellow Taoists, farewell. Wait a minute, fellow Taoist Su. An old voice sounded. Su Junming didn't seem to hear it. He took one step, thousands of feet away, and disappeared from everyone's eyes in a few steps. Hushan Taoism. Everyone was shocked. The Earth Emperor path is already difficult to cultivate, and the Hutian path is even more difficult. This person can achieve such a profound state in these two great ways. He is truly a rare talent that has been rare in the world of cultivation for hundreds of years. Just when Su Junming was suppressing the ghost disaster in Changping, thousands of miles away in the Kunlun Mountains, a man wearing black armor, with an ancient face and a majestic aura suddenly stopped. Your Majesty, is there something wrong? A middle-aged man wearing a Republic of China military uniform quickly stepped forward and asked. I didn't expect that the current cultivation world would still have such strength, that it would take care of Zhao Kuo so quickly. Zhao Kuo's original Red Dragon banner was destroyed by General Bai Qi 2,000 years ago, but it was still able to gather the power of 200,000 ghost troops and exert the combat power of the 9 transformations of the nascent soul. With today's cultivation world, the situation is such that no one should be able to stop it. Do you doubt my king's judgment? I don't dare. It's just that the king is about to cause trouble, so we should be cautious, the middle-aged man said quickly. The man in black armor pondered for a moment. Is there any response from Su Fu? I have sent people to Japan, but there is no news yet. There was a pause. Your Majesty, Su Fu has been away for many years. This time the king was born, he did not come to see him. I am afraid that this person has a disobedient heart. Disloyalty. Humph, he still doesn't dare. Looking at the snow-capped mountains in the distance, the man in black armor strode away. Let's go. Get the treasure of the Yaokai mountain, the Zhuagu spring, and I will be able to be resurrected. By then, all obstacles will be chickens and dogs. Your Majesty is wise. Jukfeng Mountain is rich in aura and lined with green trees. There are 9 mountains stretching 400 miles across, a vast area with crisscrossing valleys. However, in addition to the 9 mountains, there is another stone mountain of 3,000 feet. The stone mountain is bare and has no greenery at all. Su Junming sat cross-legged on the top of the mountain, his eyes slightly closed, and a bunch of yellow rice was floating in front of him. Visible to the naked eye, military souls flew out from the stone mountain one after another and were refined by yellow rice. Every time a military soul is refined, Yimen Huangliang's aura becomes stronger. An hour passed before Su Junming breathed out and slowly opened his eyes. After using his magic power, he looked at the 8th spiritual forbidden light flashing on the yellow rice and nodded with satisfaction. After refining 50,000 ghost troops, Huangliangmai was upgraded into a top-grade spiritual weapon. If all the remaining 400,000 ghost troops suppressed in the mountain could be refined, Yimen Huangliang would probably be able to achieve the perfection of the 12 spiritual prohibitions. However, after reading Zhao Kuo's memories, Su Junming realized how lucky he was to win this battle. If it weren't for the fact that Zhao Kuo's red dragon flag was destroyed by Bai Qi in the Battle of Changping, and then sealed by Qin Qi practitioners, and could not be repaired, it would not have been so easy to be taken away by Qinzhong. What's more important is that the law of heaven has ended, and the spiritual energy of heaven and earth has declined, which has weakened most of the 450,000 ghost soldiers of Zhao army. Especially as the main general, Zhao Kuo's strength has dropped again and again. From 2,000 years ago, he was not afraid of the ghosts and immortals of the underworld. It is now equivalent to the cultivation level at the peak of Jindan. However, no matter how lucky he was to win this battle, he won in the end. At least half of this huge merit must be attributed to oneself. With a wave of his hand, he saw a broken red dragon flag, a sheathed bronze sword, and 2 broken monuments with flashing spiritual patterns. The red dragon flag is Zhao Kuo's natal magic weapon. In its heyday, it was a military spiritual treasure that could condense the souls of 450,000 Zhao troops. But now it is just a top-quality spiritual weapon. Su Junming doesn't practice military training, so he has no use for this red dragon flag. However, the precious materials used to refine this red dragon flag are too precious, and with his current skill in weapon refining, he cannot yet refine it. He picked up the bronze sword, flipped the buckle, and choke, the long sword was unsheathed, and the sharp cold light reflected his brows. The simple sword body is imprinted with regular diamond patterns, and under the calyx of the sword that Along swallowed, there are 2 complicated etchings. Breaking the military. After reading Zhao Kuo's memories, I learned that this broken sword was the sword worn by Zhao Kuo's father, Ma Fijun Zhaoxi. After Zhaoxi became an immortal, the sword was passed on to Zhao Kuo. Zhao Kuo defeated Changping, and the sword was buried underground in Changping with him. Looking at it this way, Bai Qi is quite kind. At least he didn't take away Zhao Kuo's family heirlooms. You know, this broken army sword was even more powerful than the Red Dragon banner in its heyday. Of course, like the Red Dragon banner, it has now become a top-grade spiritual weapon under the general trend of heaven. The last 2 pieces of stone tablets are called the Fengling tablet. They were originally the spiritual treasures set up by the Qin state to suppress Zhao Kuo and the great Zhao ghost army. At the end of the heavenly way, it gradually lost its original suppressive power. However, the reason why Zhao Kuo was born was not because he broke the stone tablet himself, but because someone deliberately cut it off and released the ghost army of Zhao state that was suppressing it. But there is no information about this person in Zhao Kuo's memory, and Su Junming has no way of knowing the other party's identity. Inferring from the Yi hexagram is fruitless due to the chaos of heaven. The spirit sealing steel was broken, and even the magic weapon was gone. However, the materials are rare, and the remaining restrictions in them will be of great help to him in understanding the sealed way. In addition to these three things, Su Junming also acquired many skills. In particular, in Zhao Kuo's memory, there is a 6 Tao military strategy, which records in detail the way of military training, as well as the secret method of condensing the military soul and arranging military formations. It is more exquisite than the 9 transformations of Tiangang that he got from the memory of Lu Pan's predecessor, Lu Shiliang. The 9 changes of Tiangang is like a martial arts classic, and the marching formation is just incidental. The 6 Tao military strategy is the true secret code of military art. The military tactics and battle formations are 100 times better than the 9 changes of Tiangang. If Su Junming intends to become a general, the 6 Tao military strategy will be enough to bring him to the top. It's a pity that he doesn't practice military art. The 6 Tao military strategy is just a classic in his library. Looking at Zhao Jun's soul staying in a dream. Now the evil spirit and yin energy in their bodies have been refined by Su Junming, leaving only the most basic human souls. Now that the disaster is approaching, I don't have time to send you to the underworld. Let's wait until the disaster passes. Put away Yi Meng Huangliang and fly towards the first mountain. When we reached the top of the mountain, we heard the roar of lions and cows. You don't need to look to know that the Golden Lion and Kuei Niu are fighting again. These two beasts were fighting each other every day before Su Junming came out of the wild world, so it's no surprise now. 193, 194. Loud chants came from the valley below the mountain. From a distance, you can see a shirtless Jin Zhong, carrying a giant blue stone on his back and doing leapfrog. The boulder had been trained by Su Junming using the earthly emperor's way, and it was barely considered a top-quality magic weapon. It has no other function except to be heavy and strong, and is specially used to refine Qin Zhong's body. After watching for a while, Su Junming nodded with satisfaction. Although this great disciple is a little stupid, he has strong perseverance. If he can keep it up and has enough resources to support him, he will definitely achieve great success in the future. The figure flashed out of Jufeng Mountain. The outside world is not the main gate of Luofu Mountain Mission, but the Tianxing's Huazhang Peak Cave Sky. Hearing the movement, Ren Wuji pointed at the yin-yang millstone spinning in the air and opened his eyes. Out. Su Junming nodded. Has anyone come to see me these days? It's not too much, just see for yourself. Ren Wuji raised his hand, and dozens of talisman letters flew over. So much. It's so refreshing. You, old man, suppressed the 450,000 Zhao state ghost army that almost knocked down all the Quanzhen Taoist sects, and then just patted your butt and left. You didn't even give them a chance to hold your thighs, just sent a few pictures say hello to Fu Xin, what's so weird? Ren Wuji put his hands behind his head and said lazily. Is anyone coming from mission? Su Junming said while watching. At first, he did not go back to mission, but came directly to Wuzhangfeng Cave Sky just to escape from peace and quiet. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 281. Chapter 277 The Second Disciple. Not yet, but if you don't go back, Uncle Nine will probably come. Unless the White Lotus sect is destroyed, there will be no big deal if I go back. Huh? What's wrong? Ren Wuji came up. These days, he has been practicing the yin-yang great moment and has not read these talisman letters. Uncle Ju is injured. Didn't you destroy the zombies in Ten Town 2 years ago? Uncle Ju's trip should be safe and sound, Ren Wuji said. Although Su Junming didn't come out much in the past 5 years. But he manipulated several golden elixir puppets, especially Lu Pan, to kill more than a dozen evil-doing golden elixir monks, the remnants of the Wu family who had escaped in the early years, and the bronze-armored corpse in 1010 town. Beheaded. The talisman letter said that he met the White Lotus sex saint Wen Ruyi. A ball of fierce flames rose from Su Junming's palm, burning the letter into ashes. It turned out to be the switch. You should have killed her in the first place, Ren Wuji said. He didn't want to disturb Uncle Ju's wedding banquet, so he didn't chase and kill Wen Ruyi. He didn't expect that this woman was very good at hiding. For 5 years, Su Junming has not been able to find her. Even using the Yi hexagram, her exact location could not be calculated. Now that a catastrophe is imminent and the heavenly secrets are in chaos, it becomes even more difficult to predict. You keep an eye on Huoyan, I'll go back to mission. Go, as long as I'm here, this place is impregnable. Su Junming nodded and pondered for a moment. Recruit Lupan, Man Fang, and Vivian. Tianxing's whose flaming eye affects half of China, and the safety of hundreds of millions of people is in danger. We cannot take it lightly. Especially now, when a catastrophe is imminent, we cannot ignore it. Ren Wuji nodded. After the explanation, a ray of light emerged from Tianxing's hu. The distance of thousands of miles was quickly crossed, entering Luofu Mountain, and heading straight to Muyuju where Uncle Ju lived. Uncle Su. Lin Zhenying, who was playing on the swing, ran over with a look of surprise on his face. Picked him up. Where are your parents? Inside. At this time, the aunt came out after hearing the commotion. When she saw Su Junming, a smile appeared on her face, but the smile was a bit reluctant. Junming is here. Auntie, where is my uncle? It's inside, come in quickly. Zhenying, come to mom. Handing the little guy over, Su Junming stepped into the house. Uncle Ju, who was wearing a green coat and looked a little haggard, opened the door and walked out of the quiet room after hearing the noise. Uncle, let me see how your injury is. After saying that, he stretched out his hand to take the pulse of Uncle Ju's wrist. I have nothing serious to do. It's all because of your aunt and uncle's troubles, which caused you to come all the way back. My dantian is cracked, and you still say it's okay. After a slight scolding, the concubine's tears suddenly flowed down. She herself doesn't have much obsession with practice, and it doesn't matter whether she can advance to the golden elixir. But her husband's path was cut off, which made her extremely sad. I wanted to scold him a few words, but seeing my wife's tears streaming down my face, I sighed and swallowed the words as they came to my lips. After Su Junming's magic power circulated in Jushu's dantian for several times, he discovered that a crack 3 feet long and 1 foot wide had opened above his 40 acres of dantian. Although it is not big, if it is not repaired, the cultivation level will never be improved, otherwise there is a risk of cracking of the dantian. Once the dantian splits, it's all over. Uncle, I will definitely find a way to repair your dantian, Su Junming said firmly. Uncle Ju waved his hand and smiled openly. It doesn't matter whether it can be repaired or not. At the end of the heavenly Dao, the strongest in the cultivation world is only the golden elixir. Although my dantian is broken, I can still maintain the golden elixir level cultivation. 300 years of life is enough. Turned. On your side, you single-handedly suppressed the ghost trouble in Changping this time and earned a great reputation for our mission southern section. You have done a lot of credit. I have been taught by my uncle and master for many years, and I never dare to forget the responsibility of slaying demons and protecting the common people. As for whether I have merit or not, I don't think much about it. After patting him on the shoulder, Uncle Ju showed a happy look on his face. Your master and I are very pleased that you can think so. We cultivators can have selfish motives, but at critical moments we must not ignore the righteousness. Disciple, please remember master's teachings. Uncle Ju nodded and waved to his son. Zhenying, come here. Daddy. Kneel down for your Uncle Su. Lin Zhenying was confused but did not dare to disobey her father's decision and knelt down in front of Su Junming obediently. Su Junming, who guessed Uncle Ju's intention, didn't help him either. Junming, I originally waited until Zhenying was 6 years old before letting him become your disciple, but now that the world is in catastrophe and killings are happening one after another, and we in mission are at the forefront of the storm, I'm afraid I won't be able to see you in the future. After thinking about it, I'd better let him become your disciple now. Okay. In the future, if your aunt and I die in a catastrophe, Zhenying will ask you to take care of us. The concubine turned her head away, not wanting her son to see her tears. Su Junming looked solemn and nodded slowly. Uncle Ju's words were full of the idea of entrusting the orphan. Obviously this injury made him see the cruelty of the catastrophe. Don't worry, from now on, Ying'er will be my second disciple. Uncle Ju smiled and nodded, took out a jade box from the magic bag and opened it. Uncle, I don't have as many good things as you. This 1,000-year-old red fruit was a congratulatory gift from your Uncle Sun when I got married to your aunt. Let's treat it as Zhenying's apprenticeship ceremony this time. I hope you don't dislike it. Master, what did you say? I was taught a lot by you when I entered Taoism, and I am grateful to this day. Even without this apprenticeship ceremony, it is my duty to teach Zhenying. That being said, rules are rules. Looking at the Millennium Zuguo handed to him, Su Junming, who knew Uncle Ju's temperament, did not refuse. Zhenying, kowtow to your master. Lin Zhenying politely kowtowed to Su Junming 3 times, and then her concubine made tea and brought it to her son. Master, drink tea. Su Junming took it and drank it in one gulp. After touching his little head and using his palms, a blue and white talisman appeared in his palm. This is a gift from Master. If you encounter a bad guy in the future, squeeze it hard and the bad guy will run away. He nodded his little head vigorously, and after taking it, he curiously played with the talisman in his hand. Thank you, Master. Now Lin Zhenying is still young and has no magic power in his body, so he can't use magic weapons even if he is given one. This talisman is different. It contains the Thunder Dao method that Su Junming has understood. It can be destroyed with one strike at the innate stage. If the golden elixir is below the 6th level, you will be seriously injured if you are not prepared. When he was playing with the Thunder Talisman, Su Junming flicked his fingers, and a black talisman sank into Lin Zhenying's body. This is a Huishan talisman. Can be used to escape at critical moments. Junming, thank you for your trouble. Uncle Ju said gratefully. He had personally experienced the wonders of Su Junming's spiritual talisman. If it weren't for the Huishan talisman, he wouldn't have been able to escape from Wen Ruyi, who was in the late Jindan stage. Uncle, you are too polite. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. I'll open the door. The concubine hurriedly walked out, and after a short time, she came in with Yang Xian, who had a close relationship with Su Junming. Senior brother Lin, Su. Yang Xian, who wanted to call Master Su, suddenly got stuck. It's not that he meant to do this, but this nephew who was still in the early stage of Xiantian 20 years ago is now vaguely respected as the strongest person in the cultivation world by suppressing the ghost disaster in Changping. The contrast between heaven and earth made Yang Xian feel so complicated when they met again that he didn't know how to address him for a moment. Uncle Yang, are you looking for my uncle? Su Junming could guess some of Yang Xian's psychology, so he took the initiative to ask. No. The master knew that Su, nephew, had returned to the mountain and asked me to call you over to discuss matters. Su Junming nodded. Uncle Yang, please go wait outside first. Yang Xian nodded to Uncle Ju and his wife, then turned and walked out. Uncle, Aunt, Ying'er is still young, so there is no need to rush for him to practice. Why not let him follow you first? The concubine looked at her husband eagerly. She was reluctant to let go of her son. Uncle Ju was equally reluctant to part with him, and it was indeed not time for his son to start practicing. Then let him stay with us first. Su Junming smiled and nodded. I want to have a few words with Ying alone. When Uncle Ju and Aunt Ju nodded, he took Lin Ying to Uncle Ju's study. After a reminder and a dream, Huang Liang, after isolating the outside space, he spread his palms and a 7-foot bamboo stick appeared in his hands. Pulling Lin Zhenying's little hand, the bamboo stick turned into a line of green light and disappeared in his palm. Ying half an hour after Master leaves, you can take out this bamboo stick and give it to Daddy. Lin Zhenying nodded. But how can I get the bamboo stick out? If you think about it, it will appear in your hand. Subconsciously visualize the green bamboo stick from before. With a flash of green light, the 7-foot jade bamboo staff appeared in the palm of his hand. Lin Zhenying sent and received messages several times, and every time she was satisfied, her young face was full of surprises. Master, have fun. You will have it too in the future. Touched his little head. Okay, put it away and let's go out. Lin Zhenying nodded and put away the bamboo stick. After removing Yimen Huang Liang, Su Junming took him out. Uncle, Aunt, I will take my leave now. Come back often when you have time, Uncle Ju said. Su Junming nodded and walked out. Si Yang Xian. Uncle Yang, let's go. Good. All the way to the Shangqing Hall, he stepped in and found Zhao Lijiao sitting on the throne of the head. I've met the leader. Junming, sit down. Su Junming nodded and sat down on the seat next to him. I wonder why the leader came to me. Junming, were you really able to suppress the 450,000 ghosts of Zhao Jun in Changping? Zhao Lai still can't believe that Su Junming can suppress such a disaster by himself. Exactly. Seeing him nod, Zhao Lai was shocked and took a deep breath. What about the blue-eyed golden centipede and Chiyu cave? Dead. Don't worry, Master. The disciples rushed to Changping only after killing the blue-eyed golden centipede, Shu cave, and the White Lotus Sex branch. Zhao Lai nodded. Become a disciple of Taoist priest 4 Eyes. Author, Dong Ren. Chapter 282. Chapter 278, The Innocent Mother. Being able to kill the great demon in the late Jindan stage so quickly, uproot Shu cave and the White Lotus sect, and suppress the Zhao army in Changping. I'm afraid his cultivation has reached the peak of the golden elixir, and he has a deep understanding of the way of divine fighting. In addition, when suppressing the Changping ghost army, the Earth Emperor Dao and Hu Tian's cultivation were revealed. Su Junming's talent once again refreshed Zhao Lai's understanding. Junming, did you understand the earthly Emperor Dao you used to suppress the Zhao army in Changping on your own? I have gained my own understanding and also learned from the experience of my predecessors. Don't worry, Master, I will hand it over to the sect once I have sorted it out completely. That's not what I meant, I'm just curious. With his goal achieved, Zhao Lai quickly changed the topic. Changping's 450,000 ghost army is always a scourge. How are you going to deal with it? Of course, after refining, send them to reincarnation. Only in this way can they be saved once and for all. Zhao Lai nodded in agreement. If you need it, the sect can also provide help. Don't worry, Master. When the catastrophe is over and everyone is free, I will definitely not be polite. Zhao Lai had a smile on his face. Saving the 450,000 ghost army into reincarnation is a rare and great merit. If you can share it more, it will be beneficial to everyone on Mount Mission. For Su Junming, he needs the ghost energy and evil spirit of 450,000 ghost troops to sacrifice Yimen Huang Liang. As for the merits, he has already taken most of them, and there is no harm in giving some profits to the sect. Does the leader know where the White Lotus sect's main altar is? We, the 3 mountain talisman sects, have been searching for many years, and we are almost certain that the White Lotus sect's main altar is in Ryukyu. Ryukyu. That's right, 7 days later, the three mountain talisman sects are preparing to work together to clear the White Lotus sect's main altar. Junming, you can't go alone first. In the 1003 Great Tribulations, everyone will have to deal with it. If you go ahead of time, let's clear it up. Without the White Lotus sect as the scourge, there would have been other, stronger catastrophes. Su Junming nodded. No one likes uncertain factors. Compared with other disasters, the old opponent of the White Lotus sect is easier to deal with. Don't worry, Master. I will accompany the sect in the annihilation of the White Lotus sect this time, but the Saint Wen Ruyi of the White Lotus sect must be killed by me. Knowing that Uncle Ju was hurt by the switch, Zhao Lai nodded. If Master has nothing else to do, I will take my leave. In 7 days it will be time for the expedition. During this period you should stay in the section. After responding, Su Junming walked out of the Shangqing Hall. I originally planned to go to my residence and continue to practice Yimen Huangliang, but I didn't expect that Renwuji's spiritual consciousness would transmit his voice. My dear, Wen Ruyi is in the Wuzang Peak Cave Heaven. The White Lotus sect wants to open the Eye of Fire, Su Junming understood immediately. Most likely. Who else besides Wen Ruyi? Several golden elixir elders from the White Lotus sect, all of them are at the middle stage of the golden elixir in terms of strength. But don't worry, these chickens and dogs can't do anything to me. Grandma, you are usually the one who fights outside, but this time too it's finally my turn. I'll rush back right away. Although Renwuji's strength is sufficient, coupled with puppets such as Lu Pan, Man Fang, and Sun Chengzong, with the help of formations, he is enough to deal with Wen Ruyi and several middle-stage Jindan. However, Tianxing's whose fire eye is related to the safety of half of China's mountains and rivers and hundreds of millions of people, and there is no room for any mistakes. Be careful. The most mysterious leader of the White Lotus sect has never shown up. He is probably waiting for you on your way back. I've long wanted to meet her. With a certain thought in mind, a ray of light emerged from Luofu Mountain and flew straight to the north. At this moment, Tianxing's Hu. Looking at the opposite side, there is a child wearing a short green coat, a bun, and a copper ring hanging around his neck, like a golden boy in the sky. Who are you? Wen Ruyi looked solemn. The opponent's level 8 golden elixir cultivation level is not inferior to hers at all. And judging from his expression, he is definitely not a puppet. Xiaodao Renwuji. What is your relationship with Su Junming? He, guess. Wen Ruyi frowned and said angrily. Get out of the way, otherwise don't blame me for being rude. No, this is not the right way to open it. Renwuji waved his hand. I heard people say that when you meet a man, you have to say goodbye first. Why did it change when you get to the trail? Come on, you're welcome. Bring out all the Lolita sounds and Yuja sounds. It would be even better if there is some kind of devil dance that you can do naked. If you live well, I'll kick that Su Junming out of nowhere and leave with you, little sister. Wen Ruyi's face turned blue. You little bastard, go to hell. A black magical sword, carrying dozens of feet of sword energy, slashed straight at Renwuji. The sword energy was so powerful that it suddenly disappeared when it reached Renwuji's head. Wen Ruyi's expression changed. Looking at the bronze mirror floating above the little Taoist priest's head, my heart felt heavy. Hushin Dao spirit weapon. Have vision. What do you think? Do you want to consider Xiaodao? Old God Renwuji was here. He looked at him deeply. I'll hold him back while you go in and open the eyes of fire. One tall, one short, one monk and 2 White Lotus sect elders with level 6 golden core nodded and flew straight towards the Wuzang Peak cave sky. Renwuji did not stop him. Lu Pan and Vivian have the help of formations, so it is not difficult to take down these 2 people. Seeing Renwuji's indifference, Wen Ruyi frowned. She didn't know if the other party was bluffing, or if he really had confidence in the formation that protected the fire eye. But no matter what, Xing's fire eyes must be opened on this day. This is the death order given by the leader. The two White Lotus sect elders successfully broke through the barrier of the Wuzang Peak cave and entered it, but after a while, Tianxing's was still calm. The longer time dragged on, the more Wen Ruyi's heart sank. Have you already made arrangements? What do you think? Ren Wuji said with a smile. Wen Ruyi's eyes flickered and she flew away. Escape? It's rare that a Sao woman like you, who is as cunning as a fox, comes to the door by yourself. How can I let you escape? The light of the eternal light mirror flashed, and Ren Wuji instantly crossed 100 feet. With a finger, the yin and yang are greatly polished and the spiritual light is vast. The black and white millstones rotated, and the tyrannical power of swallowing enveloped Wen Ruyi. Damn it! He drew his sword and slashed furiously. The tyrannical sword energy was moved away by a mirror light before it could get close to the yin-yang great Mo. 7 emotions divine light. A 7-color spiritual light flew toward yin-yang Damo like lightning, and at the same time, he swung his sword and slashed horizontally, intending to cut off the power of swallowing and sucking. Ren Wuji smiled lightly. Yin-yang scissors. The yin and yang spiritual light is vast, and the extremely sharp aura rises into the sky. The giant scissors that were 100 feet long were cut with a click. Look at the giant scissors with amazing momentum and speed as fast as lightning. Wen Ruyi subconsciously wanted to escape, but a strong binding force locked her tightly. In critical moments, Wen Ruyi is also ruthless. Blood explosion technique. The flesh and blood all over his body exploded with a bang, and the tyrannical power blocked the giant scissors. A golden elixir flew straight into the distance as fast as lightning. Without the eternal light mirror, you really could have escaped this time. The mirror light flashed, and a space passage about 10 feet thick appeared in front of him. Ren Wuji took off the gold ring around his neck and threw it in. There are a total of 3 spiritual weapons on him. The yin-yang great mill, the universal light mirror, and this golden circle of subduing demons. The Zhoguang mirror is the most powerful and is the top-grade spiritual weapon of the 10 spiritual taboos. As the natal spiritual weapon, the yin-yang great grinding came second, and he had already practiced the 9 spiritual taboos. The demon-suppressing golden circle is the worst, but it is also a medium-grade spiritual weapon among the 4 spiritual taboos. Even so, it was enough to deal with Wen Ruyi, who only had the golden elixir left. The golden circle that subdued the demon instantly appeared in front of Wen Ruyi's escape. With a flash of golden light, the golden circle that was originally only the size of a sea bowl instantly became 3 feet tall. The golden circle met Wen Ruyi's set of golden elixirs. In an instant, the aura of the golden elixir disappeared, falling into the golden circle and disappearing. Ren Wuji stretched out his hand and made a move. The golden circle flew. His spiritual consciousness immersed, and he saw the motionless Wen Ruyi golden pill in the inner space of the golden circle. This demon-suppressing golden circle was refined with the talents of hardware. It is not only extremely hard, but also contains the power of sealing. In addition, Su Junming also practiced a space of 100 feet in size. There are many wonderful uses. My dear, I have captured Wen Ruyi. I am just waiting for you to come back and search for her soul. Nu. After the 7 emotions demonic lotus, his natal spiritual weapon, was taken away by him, at least half of Wen Ruyi's strength was lost. It was not surprising that he was taken down by Ren Wuji. From your tone, have you encountered an enemy? Looking at the old woman standing in the wind 100 feet away, wearing a black cloak, with a majestic aura, holding a dragon head and a crutch, with a shaved head, she looks like a good monk. Leader of the White Lotus sect, Wu Sheng old mother Li Xingfang. Didn't that old guy die under the Tianqi sword, the spiritual weapon of Tianqi Dao Town? When Ruyi also died at the hands of Shenxiao Dao Zhenjiao's spiritual weapon 5 Thunder Hammer. Didn't she come back to life differently? It seems that they still have the backup plan to come back from the dead. When I see the memories of their masters and apprentices, everything will be clear. Okay, you go ahead and fight. I'll wait for you at Wuzhangfeng Cave Heaven. No. He cut off contact with Renwuji and stared at the beautiful middle-aged woman opposite. Is this the leader of the White Lotus sect, the Wushan old mother, Li Xingfang? Haha, I didn't expect that after so many years, a younger generation like you would still know my mother's name. Back then, you drove the White Lotus cultists to harm half of China. Hundreds of millions of people died under your swords. The whole Jiangnan was filled with blood and innocent souls were everywhere. You, an old shrew, have committed countless crimes. How could you not know about it again? Li Xingfang's eyes turned cold. Sharp teeth and sharp mouth. Before he finished speaking, his heart was shocked, and a white lotus suddenly appeared behind him. A clenched fist, with a might as heavy as a mountain, hit the lotus with a bang. Wu Tao's huge force exploded, and the fierce energy and blood instantly knocked people and lotus flowers away. Qinglong is at your wit's end. Using the Hu Tian technique, he caught up with Li Xingfang in an instant and struck down mercilessly with his iron elbow. Suzaku Divine Stake. The thighs were tightened, and the tyrannical force unleashed a thunderous burst of energy. Suddenly, a sharp energy flew from the side. A crimson light flashed behind Su Junming's head. While blocking his energy, his thick thigh hit Wu Sheng Old Mother White Lotus hard. Boom! Like a ball being kicked away, Wushan Old Mother was sent flying hundreds of feet in an instant, but it was difficult to stabilize herself. With the protection of the White Lotus, she was not injured, but her face looked ugly. Also, anyone who is chased and beaten will not feel good. Despicable and shameless people actually attack in secret. Su Junming curled his lips. They are all enemies. Who is still wasting time talking to you? The defensive ability of this White Lotus is very strong. Turning his eyes, a strong man wearing a blue battle armor, with a majestic physique, over 10 feet tall, holding a 3-pronged steel fork, with blue scales on his face, and a demonic aura came into view.